Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV podcast 496. I'm here.
I know. For how long? How long are you in
Only
town?
about another 14 hours. No, 18-ish hours.
And then you fly back off to Bend?
Then I fly back to Bend.
Okay.
I got in from Arizona around 1 or 2-ish last night. And then I fly back out tomorrow morning, afternoon thing, whatever. Yeah. Stoked. We're moving Waco to a 4-day event.
No, nobody is. I mean, it's
they are, and they
Waco
should be.
Waco is because
and they should be.
They're elevating the event to a DGPT plus. It's going to be a more prominent event, which is funny because, and not that this is the reason why, I felt like last year the DGPT plus events, specifically the one out in Portland, was maybe pushed to get more attendance on the West Coast. But this year, Waco has never had an attendance problem. It's a phenomenal course. In fact, I'm actually slightly worried that adding a second course, and granted, I haven't seen it yet. It's on the new golf course. I know it's been played a few times. Might actually detract from what I felt was a spectacular event. So it's always worrisome to be changing something that's already successful.
Well, for starters, we're kicking off a major swing/leg in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to wonder, when it comes to timing specifically, will it be to their advantage or disadvantage, or will it not be relevant that they're kicking it off, the Texas swing, and that they're going to be a 4-day event? Like, versus just fast forward in a month, if it was the last event in Texas of this swing and it was a 4-day event, would that have different implications? Clearly, we don't know any of those answers.
Because what we're about to do is we're about to go to Waco, open at Austin, U.S. women's
in
and
Austin area.
Then Texas State, right?
I think you flip Texas State. I'm not working those, nor are you, which is why we're uncertain. I think you flip Texas State and the Open at Austin around, maybe? Either way.
Really? Oh.
You could be right. I don't know. Again, when I don't work an event, it definitely makes it more difficult.
I'm working this weekend, actually. I'm doing the broadcast for the
NPO.
Oh,
no.
So
that means I'm going to hear you? You're going to hear me?
I'm going to have to hear you. Which...
Lucky. Okay. You were right. You were correct.
Actually, I knew that because Open at Austin and U.S. Women's is in the same city, so they bunched them together, and then they.
But even if they were reversed, it would have made sense. But
and then you go down and come
anyway.
Back, whatever.
Yes, this weekend Waco. Next weekend the Open at Austin, which, in all fairness, another reason why I'm slightly removed. I've never had any part of the Open at Austin experience in the last 2 or 3 years, whether it was a silver event or last year. I've never worked it in any capacity, so I'm a little removed, or not quite fully attached to it. Then, like you said, we have the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship, which is pretty exciting. That's taking place. See here, it's funny because I'm looking at a schedule and there's no way the schedule is right. That's not right because it's not on that weekend. Oh, that's the Texas States. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
It is on that weekend.
It is on that weekend because there's a week between. It's okay, Terry. It's
I'm tired. I'm not going to lie.
You've been working really hard there,
I'm literally staring at a logo that says Texas States, but I'm thinking it says U.S. Women's. That's what my problem was. Anyway, I'm not working Texas State, and I'm not working the Open at Austin. Hence, I'm a little slow to those. So
that's all right.
Yes, kicking off a Texas swing, though, is really the long and short of this. 4 weeks. Obviously, 3 of those weeks are going to be focused on MPO and FPO, and then one of those weeks will be exclusively the women playing in the U.S. Championship. So, which I believe has record attendance. I keep seeing Facebook posts
every year. It has record attendance. I just assume it's going to have record attendance.
Here more than maybe most places, I feel, because of the location, the weather, and everything else. I feel as if it's going to has even a higher chance for success. And we've seen such a concerted effort for women's events and women-specific events, including the series down there in Texas, and all the effort that's put into women's disc golf, exclusively women's disc golf in Texas. So that's nothing but a tip of the cap to what they've been doing to help aid in the success of getting them to this point. So when you do bring a major there,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really a surprise. Like
No,
they're turning out.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
So that's awesome to see. All right. So I guess we'll just kick off with a little bit of the info or housekeeping for tonight. We are going to have one Gannon Buhr join the show. I think he's in the middle of doing something
That's Missy
right now.
Gannon's brother, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, much taller brother. He's going to be joining the show here at some point. He said probably around 9 p.m. Central, 9-ish is how we last left it. I said, well, we'll have a show until whenever you can jump on. I'm not sure if they're shooting some vlogs for Alden or what they're doing.
He's probably got like some Lego thing to finish up.
Yeah. But he will be joining us tonight, or maybe some other obligation. So looking forward to having Gannon Buhr join us. And with that, you want to talk a little bit? You want to get right into this weekend's event, or do you want to open with a different one? Let's open with that one. One we've attended.
Yeah, let's go through some of the events that happened, and we'll get to the memorial after all of them. The first event we'll talk about is one that we have attended, the 31st annual City of Mobile Championships. Shout out Rivers Sherrod. For I think the third or fourth year in a row, Matty O takes this one down in a playoff this year against Ezra Robinson, who is Isaac Robinson's brother.
Oh,
That much I knew.
they were cousins.
No.
Huh.
No. So, Matty O taking this down over Ezra Robinson. Both of them shooting 30 under par. Matty O coming out on top. Again, I think it's his fourth in a row now of the City of Mobile
Sounds like a
Championships.
stat Mando. Did you read that?
I don't know.
Or are you just making that up?
I don't know where I read it, but I did.
I mean, that sounds like something Stat Mando would provide to the world, so I like it.
Probably.
I'll go along.
Like that.
I'll go along with it. I don't think anyone's going to argue.
Well, they don't have a
against
choice. They can't. I can't hear them. Third place, Clay Edwards. Fourth place, Jakob Samarad. And tie for fifth place between Matthew Alexander and Casey White. Congratulations to your top five winning or cashing at the City Mobile Championships. We'll go down over to FPO, a smaller field, a field of five. Taking this one down is your traveling pro, Holly Finley, winning $555, shooting an 8 under par, besting the competition by about 37 strokes. So I think that's the the local touring pro comes in and cleans up.
That's kind of, I mean, she had the next closest competitor ratings wise in Kelly Hayes
100
by just shy of 100 ratings points.
Actually,
and then
just over.
Betty, she had by just over 100 points, and she had Kelly just under 100
I missed
points
Kelly,
in terms of the their rating. So
looking at
things kind of shook out maybe as you would expect on
yeah.
paper to some degree.
Yeah.
But yes, Holly Finley able to take it down. Congrats to her. And then like you just said, Betty Howell in second, Kelly Hayes in third.
And a quick shout out MP40, Johnny McRae winning this one over Matt Dollar. Those are two guys who, and in there Rivers Sherrod in seventh place. I didn't even realize he was playing. That's old school. So congratulations to the annual City of Mobile Championships, 31st. Terry and I played like the 5th or something.
No, I think we were there for the second. No, it wasn't quite that early. We played on spring break.
That'd have been about.
And then, maybe the 4th or 5th.
It could have been the 4th or 5th. Anyway, I think we've literally looked this up before, and we're not going to now.
I am.
I know you are. But we're going to move on to the 22nd annual Crush on the Concho. This goes down in San Angelo, Texas. Winning this one, so we're bringing it back into Texas, kind of getting warmed up. Bradley Williams takes this down. It's hard to beat Bradley Williams in Texas in general, especially at A, B's, and C tiers. He wins this one by 5 strokes over Robert Burridge. Bradley Williams shot a 1039, 1047, and 1033 to win this. Tie for third place, Charlie Moore and Evan Smith. And a tie for fifth place between G.T. Hancock and Joel Freeman. So that is your top 5 in MPO. Moving down into FPO, Emily Weatherman wins this by 12 strokes over Luque Lorenzen.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Third place, Jen Smiley and Lindsay Fish. So congratulations to your top 4 players who all cashed at the 22nd annual Crush on the Concho. which we have not played.
No.
Moving on to our third A tier. It's starting a good season when we've got 3 and 4 A tiers in a weekend. So the CADL Inc. presents the Midtown sponsor by Beer Study. I wouldn't. As I said, I'd love to be in a beer study, but I wouldn't. I don't like beer. So you can give me a whiskey study. I do whiskey study.
Is Beer Study, is that a local pub?
I bet you that's a local pub. But
Okay.
Terry's going to look it up in Cary, North Carolina. So shout out to Beer Study, whoever you are. Anyway, in MPO, shooting a 27 down, winning by 1 single stroke, Grady Shue. Grady's had a pretty good start to the season. He played really well at chess.com. He was in the top 10 for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think he ended up dropping down to 15th or so-ish. Don't quote me on that. I didn't really look.
Just click on him.
I could, but then I'd click off of this one. I don't want to do that. Anyway, he shoots 1030, 1035, 1033 here, winning by a single stroke over Michael Jort. In third place, Charles Bearhorst. In fourth place, Austin Bates. And in fifth place, Blake Holland. Congratulations to our top 5. In FPO, a small field of 2, Jessica Oleski wins this one, taking home $300. So congratulations, Jessica. And I don't say this very often, Terry.
It pains you.
It hurts a little inside.
Oh,
MP40.
man.
Not winning MP40.
Ouch.
Brian Schweberger. Losing by 4 strokes to Scott Conway.
Yeah, Scott, you're my new favorite. I want to see you with 600 more wins. Scott, I like it.
Brian Schweberger currently at 398 career wins. Just that.
Hold on for one more weekend, buddy.
That's right.
At
That's
least.
right, Scott. Way to hold the man back. Way to hold him back.
Scott, on the other hand, what win number was that for Scott? Scott's been around playing for a while.
Scott has. He's got
51 wins to his name.
No slouch.
Not at all.
No
And
slouch.
and to be fair, he's also rated 2 points higher than Schwebe. Is that what we were seeing?
A few, yeah.
2
sounds
pretty
right.
close, yeah.
So,
congratulations to Scott.
yeah, on his 51st win.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
take that, Schwebe.
Ashley Schweber is going to have to push back that that party one more week.
The celebration. Well, put the cake on hold.
That's right.
Put the cake on hold.
Sorry, put it back in the freezer. It's a DQ cake.
Yes, the best kind.
All right. Now, I suppose those are your A tiers. We will move over to the last A tier of the weekend, the one that Terry Miller knows a little bit more about, one that him and I have both attended multiple times, and Terry way more than me, mostly going to film. The Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. Your tournament director is Keith Murray, friend of ours.
Yeah, and I did some of the math.
Oh, what? You did math?
I did math.
I don't believe it.
Earlier in the weekend because it was starting to wonder. This was my 19th Memorial in the last 20 years.
I had a reminder pop up
Mm-hmm.
just on, I think it was Friday it popped up.
Okay.
That was the 12th anniversary of me missing the memorial because my daughter had to go in for surgery when she was an infant. And not knowing that when I registered for the memorial, because you would have to register, as you still do, way ahead of time. We had registered in October or November or something.
Yep.
And then my daughter was born in December, but due to some complications, she had to have a surgery, and they scheduled it the very first week in March. Still, I hold it over her head to this day.
You should.
She's 12 years old, and
I'm in a similar boat.
Yeah.
The only year I missed in 20 was because I had a freaking kid that month.
God,
My daughter wasn't even born until the 21st of March. A full 3 weeks after the event, and she was my second one. So why in the world
does
I
it
care?
matter?
How was I even
You
home?
seen one kid, you seen them all
I
born.
know. Yeah, Mackenzie was born in March, and therefore I did not risk it that particular year. That was also 13 years ago. So she's about to have her 13th birthday. But that was the one memorial in the last 20 years that I did not attend. And the very first one that I went to, and I think it's of some mild interest or note, the very first one I went to was in 2005. I ended up playing and finished in 69th or 73rd place. Doesn't matter. I went, though, with the sole purpose or the main purpose of presenting to the PDGA Board of Directors and
At the Spring Summit.
to request that I be awarded the bid to host the 2007 Am World Championships here in Milwaukee. So at that time,
How did that go for you?
they awarded it to me. We won it. We got it.
I know.
Yes. So, but that was the impetus. I think that was the real reason, the main reason for going. We had heard about the memorial. Barry Schultz from Wisconsin had performed well out there. I remember live scoring came about around 2000, 2001, and I remember watching live scoring and then seeing just all these birdies at this Fountain Hills course, and that was way before coverage was a thing. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's crazy. There's so many birdies out there. Well, a few years later, and I believe the first year that I went, they were draining the pond out at Fountain Hills.
Which they do like, what, once every 10 years or something?
Something like that maybe, or replacing the liner or something like that, because that's actually has some kind of concrete mechanism underneath that fountain, and then I think they put a liner of some sorts in there, something like that. Or maybe it's just the ground and then a liner. I don't know. But they had drained it right around that year, I believe. And so we didn't actually see the fountain during that very first year or two that I was out there, I believe. So anyway, yeah, every year since. And that means we saw Fiesta Lakes come into play.
Which
so
I like.
I've seen it as few as one event, as few as one course, and as many as three.
Yeah, I really like the Fiesta Lakes course. It wouldn't hold up to Pro Tour today.
No.
It was much shorter, but I would say a little more technical for Arizona standards. A little more touch shots. I mean, there was literally a shot that I think was 150 feet at one point. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun course to watch. And I don't know if it's still even a course anymore, but I think it would be fun to bring back.
Yeah, it was called, for a little while after it fell off the tour, so to speak, the course did. It then became Freedom Lakes, and I think it was under new ownership. And now I believe there's a different tournament going on there that maybe Tommy Guns and some of the other Arizona guys are doing. It seems like that property has been in various stages or limbo of some degree throughout the last few years. So I love just the idea that it's a course of some nature, and it gives the valley another opportunity to go play golf. But
so do I.
Yeah, we'll see if it ever comes back in any other significant capacity. But anyway, yeah, 19 out of the last 20 years. The only year I missed, 2011.
Kids.
Thanks for that.
Damn kids. All right, let's talk about MPO real quick. Our guest tonight, who will be on in a little while, Gannon Buhr, shoots 36 under par. Spoiler. I mean, if you haven't watched by now, you're one of the few.
It feels
people.
good knowing the coverage is out, so that we don't have to hold back.
Gannon Buhr shooting a 1039, kind of a light round there, putting himself a few strokes behind. Then a 1063, a 1061, and a 1045. So congratulations to Gannon on some really, really good golf. Second place, Aaron Gossage. Aaron shoots 34 under. Aaron went into that final round in the lead.
He did.
And unfortunately was not able to hold on. Had some unfortunate luck. Shoots only 1,004 rated final round. It's a rough one. Third place, Anthony Barella, who maybe got the most talk of the weekend, shooting a 49, which was a 10-20 first round. Then coming back with a second round at Fountain, shooting a 39. That's a 17 under par.
Ooh, we can't wait to release that.
You don't have it, Terry. 11-13. And then, which is funny because his third round was 100 points less than his, which I'm here for you, AB. I've done the same thing.
Yeah, except for yours was more like the
980, 880, whatever.
Yeah, 980, 880. Yes.
Whatever.
No, I mean, the scale, you're right. The scale is the same, just as it's shifted.
It's the same scale. It can happen to the best of us, AB. Yes, I mean, granted, he played a different course and a different style. Mm-hmm. But, and this final round,
you two are like 2 peas in a pod otherwise.
He's about my height. So
yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Like a third of my weight, but whatever. Throws 3 times further than I do.
Mm-hmm. But you guys are pretty much the same.
Hey, listen, I beat him at this tournament.
Yeah, you did.
Just bringing it up.
9 years ago.
Whatever. That's add him to my list. In fourth place, a gentleman who I have played with at this course as well, Paul Ulibarri. I know I've told the story before. I met Paul when I got paired up with him for doubles at the Memorial, random draw doubles, and I had no clue who he was. And it was the year after he won Am Worlds.
Okay, so that must have been 07.
It was 07. And someone's like, "Oh, you got Paul?" And I had no clue who he was, even right after he won.
No, Paul got me.
Yeah, Paul got me. And it was fun because basically I had a really good round. I think we cashed at that doubles. I would throw, at the time, I thought was relatively far. I was putting out 340, 350 out at Fountain, and then watching this kid just lay into him and push me out by like another 100 feet. And all I kept thinking is like, oh, great kid. And all he kept telling me was, all right, yeah, you just throw safe and let me throw far. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I think we lost by 1 stroke to somebody. Anyway, 5th place, your world champion, Isaac Robinson. Tied for 6th, Drew Gibson, Christopher Robbins, and Winnie the Pooh. 6th place, tied, was Baron Wow. That's not how you pronounce it. Barriston.
Roston?
Roston?
Wah.
Roston Wah. Wow. Roston Wah. Roston Wah. 6th place, Jake Brown. And round out the top 10, Nate Metzler. So congratulations to your top 10. All of those players, including Levi Hancock, pulled in more than $1,000. The winner, Gannon Buhr, took home $5,500. Not bad for an A tier, considering this event. I mean, it's been around forever, as we know, but it has been a staple on the tour, whether it's been part of the Pro Tour or not, as we know, for like the last 25 years.
Or 35 even.
Well, I don't know if it was a staple those first 10 years, but it was definitely a big event.
Well, and I say that it...
But you could be right.
Well, I feel like it's always been one that's largely kicked off a season and a lot of touring people's plans. And then when the Elite Series, whether it was the Discraft Elite Series way back in the day or then eventually the National Tour that then began around 2001, it was just that. It was always an opening event that everybody was attending and, like we said, kind of kicked off the official season. For the few people that we had on tour full time, this was just a staple and a pillar of an event for many years. And they continue to run it. It had, as we said, opened the national tour for a couple decades. Then eventually it had opened up the Pro Tour and no longer was kicking off the national tour. And now it's not on either of those tours, as you said, but it's still an event that a ton of people really enjoy going to. Yeah. And the fact that we saw so many players leave Florida, go essentially across the country, what feels like across the country, to get over here to Arizona to play, to then still go back to Texas, I think certainly says something about the event. And I understand a lot of people will dismiss it and say, oh, it's just a boring Heiser Fest, or say whatever you want to say about it. But
disagree,
to me, when you see someone like Gossage and Buhr, obviously AB has some roots there along with Yuli, but then Isaac and Cupcake and Babcock and all those guys who are largely on tour, the fact that they're going this far out of their way to still make this a stop as part of their season, you know.
I think it says a lot about the event.
It does.
And the courses. A lot of people like these courses. And I understand there's a lot of kickback on the courses. Based, as you said, a lot of people call it a Heiser Fest. And I'm not going to lie, Fountain Hills is a Heiser Fest. But it also shows extreme talent and skill on those Heisers. It isn't just whale Heiser out there as far as you can. You have a lot of OB to play with. Yeah. And then you have a lot of, as they call them, death putts. Almost every one of those baskets, you can go OB. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 of them where you can't probably go OB on the putt. It's just a ridiculous showing of skill and talent to be able to just pinpoint place your Heiser. And I understand that there's not
necessarily the shot shaping technicality in that sense.
At that course,
like
there's not shot shaping. It is spiking discs right where you want them, getting close enough, and then running at scary putts. But I always loved the start of our season at this type of course. Not that I don't mind chess.com. I thought it was a great event. But just there's something nice about being able to come into the season and just kind of not have to shot shape. Just throw it out there and then make these putts. Because most of these men and women have been putting all off season and maybe not playing as much as they've been putting. So to get that out there. But either way, still a phenomenal event. $5,500 for Gannon Buhr, which is, again, another reason why these guys continue to go out there. And not just the men. You have women that play this event too, that travel. Owen Scoggins shooting 26 under par. 987. 956, 996, 993. Are you kidding me? That is no shock. That's very close to what you need to shoot to win an Elite Series event these days. We're getting very close to those 1,000 rated averages for women at Elite Series, and she's pushing, looks like 980, 990 maybe, right up there. It's amazing. Own Scoggins, and she was down after the first round by, it looks like, 2 strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's down 4 more after the second round.
And then they go to the long course.
Where Jen, and remember, this is Jen Allen's home city.
Yeah.
Jen Allen lives in the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
She knows these courses. She plays them in the off season. And Own Scoggins goes out and shoots a 996 rated third round, a 57. And then the finals, a 56. She bests it by a stroke. Amazing showing by Own Scoggins. Jen Allen, as we said, takes second place. And Jen shot a 1,000 rated round and a 997 round to start.
Fountain to get things going. Yeah, she was off to a great start.
Well, amazing. Third place, Violet Main, shooting 8 under. Fourth place, Hannah Stefanovic, shooting 3 under. And fifth place, Sophia Denecki?
I think it's Donachie.
Donachie? All right, I'll go with
She's from
Donachie.
Canada. We became friends on Facebook today.
Oh, nice.
It didn't help me learn how to.
Didn't help me pronounce her name. Anyway, shoots 2 over, and we'll round it out with Katarina. She is in sixth place, the last cash at $280. Own Scoggins pulling in $1,350. Amazing. We will talk about MP40 because there's a lot of names.
There is, and there's going to be coverage of this as well, only for the final round. But yeah, we've got the final results here too, and what a battle!
You've got a Laviska, you've got a Nybo, you've got a Brinster, you've got an Ulibarri, a Polk, Skellinger. I mean, these are names that were regular on the tour, some of them. So Kale ends up winning this one, shooting 29 under par, besting by 2 strokes over KJ Nybo. And KJ had him going into the final round, spoilers. But Kale comes out and shoots 5 strokes better. The round rating was a 1036.
Yeah, look at and to feed into this, first of all, those top 4 players were also the 4 feature card members to kick off last year that we had covered. So no surprise in terms of their skill sets. They were all 4 on our feature card. But look at the score of, and this was brought to light just before the 4th round, but Kale's 29 under. If you scroll up, of course, playing, different divisions, but same course, you scroll up, look at where 29 under by Kale puts him in Open.
It would have put him at exactly 3rd place.
Yeah. Not too shabby shooting by our Masters players.
A buddy of ours, I was talking to, and he literally goes, seriously, why is Kale playing Masters? and I chuckled, and I was like, I don't know. And then he said, oh, he's registered for Masters at another event that we're playing together. And I said, I get it. Kale wins $2,500. If he would have taken 3rd place, which is not a guarantee,
tied for third,
he
would have been $2,500.
It would have been $2,800.
No, it would have been $25.
Oh, because you split it. Yeah, you split it. So he wins,
funny.
And he didn't. And granted, you could shoot whatever you want. Different situations, different timing. It's different pressures when you're in the MPO versus MP40. We all know that.
Yeah.
But Kale can compete with all the Open players. He just doesn't need to anymore. If he can pull down some wins in MP40, no reason not to. And still, we'll say, dip his toe into the DGPT events. Or is he dipping his toe into the MP40 events? I'm not sure which way he wants to look at it. Or maybe he's 50-50. Maybe he's waiting and he's waist high.
Every event, I believe, if you click on his name, he's playing MPO at Waco.
Yes.
This upcoming weekend.
Well, obviously at the DGPT he has to play MPO because there is
but
none.
I'm just saying from in terms of flipping back and forth, there's a number of events where he's going to be playing Open. Including all of our DGPT events.
Correct. And I don't know what he's playing. I mean, he's playing the Leinenkugel Throwdown. That's I don't say local. That's a Wisconsin-based event where he designed and put in a course. Earth Day at the Preserve, so he's probably playing Open at the Preserve. Standing Rocks, which is where I'll see him. He's playing Masters. If he shows up, I know last year he signed up and then didn't show up. I think he likes to sign up for the event just in case. And then anything, knowing Kale, anything can come up and change. But plus with Standing Rocks, I think he wants to come and play with a lot of his friends who are
certainly
of our age. So anyway, either way, Kale's waist deep in the MP40 division, but you know what? He can swim in the deep pools too. So congratulations to Kale, as we said. Phenomenal. KJ Nybo, second place. Third place, Steve Brinster. Fourth place, Pete Ulabari. And in fifth place, Danny Polk. So congratulations to your top 5 in at the Memorial this year in MP40.
Yeah, and funny enough, later on in the evening when I saw Paul on late Sunday night, he was talking about he knew him and his brother were very close in scores. And he was concerned about his older brother beating him. Pete finished 25. Paul finished, I think, 26. No, 28. Excuse me. So it was obviously the difference being just that final round when it was all said and done. But just kind of a funny little rivalry that they were thinking about. I'm not, going to, go out and put out an hour-long podcast analysis of said battle, but it is funny that there's some of that fun family, thought process.
There's a little pride because I
heck yeah, there is.
I don't know if Pete has officially beat Paul at a tournament.
Paul says no.
Pete says yes.
I did not fact check that. Maybe if Statmando's watching, they can, because that actually would be the best. But Paul night, granted it was 3 a.m. and poker and other things were happening, but Paul said, Pete's never beat me, and I was thinking about that going into the final round.
As he should.
That's what he was saying.
There's family pride.
Should run
There's family pride.
Yeah, and Pat, their mother, Pat Perman, was out there this weekend. Happy birthday to Pat, celebrating a birthday.
Looking great for 29.
Exactly. And so she was out there. I mean, what a treat that she's seeing her 2 sons both on lead cards at this particular event in their home state. Pretty cool weekend, for that reason alone, in terms of Pat and the rest of the family. So pretty cool to see. Yeah, I'm going to get into it just for a moment with regards specifically to the event and some of the coverage stuff. There's a lot of different conversations that have happened. I'll try to quickly recap a few of them. We lead with the lead story is that Anthony Barella effed up, right? He was on a feature card day 1, Fountain Hills. We recorded it. We put it out. He did not shoot well enough to then land himself on either the lead or the chase card for round 2. He was on the third card for round 2. We have 2 cameramen, all right? There's already a contemplation whether it's throw and catch, or if we're trying to get extra holes or extra, an entire extra round, single camera versus 2 camera, and all this other story. So for round 2, by all obvious measures, we ended up filming the lead card and the chase card. AB is phenomenal and will continue to be a growing star. He has not yet earned, I would say, whether it's called the Tiger factor and or for a little while the Macbeth factor of no matter what card you're on, we go and film you.
This is, a lot of people have referenced AB as Paul's protege.
Sure.
When he was younger, I mean, he mimicked Paul. You could see it in the style. This is just a continuation of that. Swear to God, we, in the control room, I have to listen to Mahmoud talk about how, if Paul is on the 4th card, it's in the morning, it's like, all right, we're going to send our single camera out to Paul. And it's like, well, he's down by like 12 strokes to the leader. And Mahmoud's like, I don't care. You follow Tiger. And Paul tends to, what happens, we've seen this multiple times. Paul starts out the round, maybe not shooting so well. At that point, we decide we're pulling the camera from Paul. We're going to move it to someone who's in contention and making that run. You pull the camera from Paul on hole 4. Suddenly, you're looking back at him at hole 12, and he's birdied the last 8 because your cameraman left, and I feel like that's what AB has done. He took offense to himself not getting camera coverage and shooting on the 3rd card and decided just to get everyone. No, not the first one. After that, he was like, I'm going to get the rest of these. So,
rumor had it he actually went OB on 1 and then parred it. And then parred it still. So
he must have come up short and hit the wall, maybe?
I'm not sure to what degree. I don't know. There's no cameras there. So
we won't know.
So again, it's become increasingly frustrating for the internet to be screaming about how it wasn't covered and why wouldn't you. He has not fully earned, and very few players have earned that assumption of no matter what card you're on, we're going to put a camera on you. And when you're already with insanely limited resources, you just simply can't account or assume that it's going to happen out there. And I understand people want to see it. Heck, I'd love to see it. Of course, I'd love to have it. At one point, I went and retrieved the cards from the chase in the lead card, and I saw AB putting on 10. And I saw he's got like, at the time, I briefly looked, and I saw he had like 7 or 8 birdies. I thought it was actually to go 9 out of 10. And even then, I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do about that? It is what it is. We've got 2 cameras out here covering it. I've got to do some editing. What are you going to do at that point?
To be fair, this is possible in any course. Fountain Hills, the front 8 or 9 are almost all the ones you have to get.
No, it's vice versa. No, the
well,
back
I think you
9,
have to get them all. But
the back 9 though is where you're more inclined to go 9. Oh, it's 100%.
Other than
you have
hole
less,
1,
you have way less water
right.
and OB to deal with. The back 9 for somebody to get the back 9, you're like, okay, I can see that. For somebody to get the front 9, you're like, oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
No. So, yeah. But again, we're halfway through. I'm in the middle of editing FPL.
You can't do anything anyway.
What am I going to do? Go, hey, yeah, anyway.
You should have called me up and flown me out there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I did get a text from Terry, basically, with a screenshot of Anthony Barella's scorecard. And just... At the end, well, no, it wasn't even done yet. I think he was on like hole 16 or something, 17. And he just said... I can't repeat what he had said.
I think something to the fact of like, oh, that a-hole would go.
Yeah, he'd
shoot this round when we don't have a camera
something.
on him.
And sure enough, I chuckled at it, and it was, it was.
It is what it is, and I legitimately saw AB moments after the round was done. I was again capturing cards and get started on some editing, and I saw him, and he's like, "Where were you?" I'm like, "You effed up." I said that to him. I'm like, "You effed up. What are you doing on the 3rd card? No, there's not a camera on you." He's like, "Yeah," and then he said something about, "Well, shoot good tomorrow" or something or whatever he said, and it was a fun chuckle. Does it suck? Of course it sucks. Nobody wants that round more than I do on film, of course. But
what are you doing? Shooting for 200,000 subscribers?
and here's the last thing I'll say to this about that. DGN at this point has somewhere on the media, the live and post-production media teams and contractors, we have anywhere between 12 and 38 people on any given day doing live and post, including a couple of the extra teams. When I think of Gatekeeper, who's not on site anymore, when I think of Jomez, when I think of when we had Ace run more often, and so on and so forth. This year, in 2024, there is not a dedicated, guaranteed 3rd card post-produce round that they're expecting to produce.
No, there's not. They won't.
So if you think me and 2 other guys somehow are getting a 3rd round that AB decides to go off on, you're just crazy. And like, it's flattering you think that magic could happen, but it just ain't going to happen. DGN and DGPT are not giving you a full 3rd card of coverage this year.
The thing about...
You can't expect my crew of 2.5 to do it either.
And the thing about that is, obviously, as we know, AB was, in 12th place or something? Going into... He was the bottom of the 3rd card, more or less. And that course could have happened to anybody. You could,
absolutely.
You could look down. The funny part is, I'm looking down at.
Well, just sort by score from round 1.
I did.
Okay, and then look at like any.
He was
Yuli.
Yeah,
could have shot a 17 on the chase card, and we would have missed that if we were covering 3rd.
100%. There's
Isaac Robinson. Easily could have.
Alden Harris, who was way down after the 1st round. Sorry, Alden, but he could have done it. Silas Schultz could have done it, and those are players who are way down there. Just that. Obviously, AB being AB, everyone is expecting like, oh, he's the Arizona kid. How can you not? But
you get on the leader chase card. That's how you get there. You effed up, AB. We didn't.
Get good, bro.
That's what I'm going to say about it.
No, AB doesn't care either way.
No. Anyway, it was so that was, you're right. in a lot of ways, unfortunately, that almost overshadowed so much of the other weekend, perspective and coverage is, well, where's the AB round? How could you, my favorite line is, how could you not have got that? I don't know. I could list 20 more reasons for you if you want to sit here and listen to them. So, yes. Yes.
Well, next time, if you hear someone say that, just say, when the memorial is next year, come out and cover the third card with me.
Yes.
I will help cover some costs.
Here's the other quick thing. Well, there's a couple other really big takeaways from the weekend. One, with maybe one of the most resounding responses we've seen in disc golf in a long time, Aaron Gossage loved on the commentary. And as I would say, I'm here for it. I was there for it.
How many more players are you going to break into commentary? Like, I think of so many players that are doing commentary of some sort that got their break on your channel that you just decided, like, I think they would be good, and sure enough, they are. And you've had a few clunkers in the past, but
we'll name them. We have what we're definitely realizing is with being an A tier, having a little more latitude to shape and mold however I want coverage to turn out. And sometimes it's just purely logistics where I can ask some of these people to join us, and some people take to it really well and do really well. Most of them do, more often than not, actually. People do take to it well, and some, not every viewer loves every single commentator, just like they don't love me as a host. I get it. But yeah, last year it was great that it was kind of a random thought to have Gannon on, and Gannon was very well received last year. Silas Schultz has been on my channel for a couple of different events. He has been very well received, not a surprise. He's his golf IQ, as they say, also very high and intelligent. Parker Welk has been very well received, and it's been great to have him on the few times that I have. So it worked out really well. Initially, if you really want to pull back the curtain,
I do.
There was a comment that was made on Thursday during the round because Gannon was on one of our two feature cards. Alden was on one of the other of our two feature cards. They were on separate feature cards. And at one point, somebody, I guess, had said that they're both interested in doing commentary for these cards. And I was thinking, perfect, because they're going to travel together. If they can just come to where my host is and I'm putting the footage together, let's make it happen. I messaged Gannon that night, and he went back and forth and said, ultimately, it's not going to work tonight. Sorry. I said, okay. I was thinking of just keeping in tune with, we had him last year. He was well received. So that was kind of my tentative game plan. And when that didn't work, or wasn't about to work, I had thought of other people on the card, and that's when I had reached out to Goose. And
so you're saying Goose is like your sloppy seconds?
I'm not saying that, but I then reached out to him, and he graciously said he would come to where I was, to my house, because packing up all the stuff after all the editing and whatever, it was just a major headache. And he graciously offered to take the brunt of it and then actually drive to me, which was I think upwards of 30 minutes. And after day one, not only did he do really well, and he was very well received, and he was playing well, and everything was going great, he said he'd do it again. And then he said he'd do it again. And that's how it kept rolling.
That's great.
He wasn't around on Sunday night. And I hate, and this gets finally to the point, every seemingly know-it-all out there says, oh, as soon as I heard Gannon, I knew he won. No, you didn't. You didn't, because, well, let me put it this way. If you did, then you should have said the same if I would have had Goose again, right? Like, there was no winning in that situation. When Goose couldn't join me Sunday night, because if we would have had Goose, you would have said, well, you had Goose, we had the winner on. I knew it was happening. And if you have Gannon on,
just happenstance that obviously
exactly.
that you
and if I don't have Gannon or Goose, then you say, well, I know Goose didn't win because he's not in the booth with you. You're alone. Like there's in every single scenario, and I'm getting worked up about it because
don't get worked up.
This has happened the last few days.
It's just internet guy.
Every single scenario of every person that either was or wasn't with me, you could seemingly read into it and think you knew. And I understand a lot of people said, as soon as I heard Gannon, I knew that Goose didn't win. You arrived at that conclusion. You didn't know for sure. And somebody else claimed that I have said recently on my channel that I always try to have the winner on.
What? Never. No, you just.
I don't.
Here's a little, again.
I don't try to have the winner on.
Peek behind the curtain. Terry gets on whoever is available that he thinks would be good. Period. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts. If Ricky had been available, you probably could have had Ricky on. Yeah. And Ricky didn't even play.
It's a matter of convenience, exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's just who can. We've had history in the past where pros in general have been difficult to commit.
Or they have travel plans, and
correct.
They have life, and they have obligations. There's a team dinner that night. There's a million reasons why they can't do it, and I'm not mad about any of them, ever. I get it. But that also sometimes creates a little inconsistency. And this really pisses me off because it's just a slight tangent to the thumbnail argument. Well,
you
had Gannon on the thumbnail. I knew he won.
You had AB on this thumbnail.
Well, you had AB on the thumbnail. I knew he won. You don't though, because I have to pick one of 4 at some point, and you don't know. And then as soon as if I always don't put the winner on the back thumbnail, won't you get smart enough and at some point say, well,
nope.
You put Gannon on the back thumbnail. I knew he didn't win.
We've had this. It's just random. It's the best picture you have, and it's everybody thinks they have the solution or the idea, and that's just not what it was. That's one of the reasons Jomez went away from putting people on in general. Is that because I think
they thought it? Too many people thought they tipped
they would tip the cap, and so now they're doing their different artful styles.
Sure,
I think that was one of the reasons. Obviously, they have got a lot of reasons and whatnot, and they're a very successful business and organization as to the way they do their post production. But yeah, so
I just want to reiterate. Goose couldn't do it, and any other solution that wasn't Goose, including Goose, you all could have said you knew, right? Well, Terry always has the winner, and now here he has Goose. Yeah, I had Goose for the previous 3 rounds.
It's not like Goose.
So does your logic fall apart at that point?
Yeah, it's not like Goose didn't do it because he lost. He did it because he had travel plans. Let's move on to another subject at the Memorial that a lot of people are talking about that we have to address because it's being talked about, and that is
Cupcake's birthday today. Happy birthday, Cupcake!
It is about Cupcake.
He's still. We're waiting for him to blow out his candle.
I was going to say he's going.
Ouch! That's true. Yes, Cupcake's birthday is today. Coincidentally.
Well, happy birthday, Cupcake!
Happy birthday.
Honestly, truly from the bottom of my heart, happy birthday! And you need to speed it up, as rightfully so. Everybody has said I'm sure he knows it. We've talked about it before. But there was, I think you left it in your video at some point, someone clocked him at about 48 seconds on what looked to be about a 15-foot putt. Maybe it was even inside of that. It is a subject that is being addressed on the internet.
It's getting solved there, right?
It's 100%. People have the solution. I'm not going to lie, Terry. I haven't watched your coverage.
That's all right.
And I'm probably not going to.
It doesn't want you to watch it, so don't.
I'm already subbed to your channel, so it's good enough. One of the few I sub to, but I don't tend to watch unless something crazy happens. But I have seen the clip of Cupcake taking a very, very, very long time on about a 15-footer. And ultimately, obviously, there's nothing you can do about it as coverage. You cut out a lot of it. You usually leave one in a round just to kind of remind people, like, hey, this is happening. This comes down to, first, the card, the people that are on the card with him, and second of all, probably the tournament director. Because the tournament director, who is more than likely, or I think he has to be, a marshal, can go out and warn the group of slow play. So, first the players need to address it, and I think Goose even talked about it, my understanding is on the commentary, saying, that if someone were to call him, he'd second it, but he doesn't really want to be the guy that calls Cupcake on the penalty, which I like Goose a lot, but you got to do it. There were 3 people on that card. Someone had to do it. Period. It has to be done. I keep thinking how I would like to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not on the card. Just as a spectator, I'd love to yell 30 seconds, dude. Or just go over to Keith Murray and have him take out the holy water, bless me as a marshal, and I'll go out and follow. because it has to be addressed, and he has to deal with it, even if it means hurting his putting. It has to be done. And I don't know what can be done. If he's going to play Pro Tour events, I guarantee you they're going to be watching him, whether you consider it unfair or not, or singling somebody out. Round one, I guarantee you they're going to have somebody watching him. And I don't know what his schedule is. I'll have to take a look at what his schedule is, whether he's playing Waco or what.
Yeah, this obviously this conversation isn't new, and it's not just specific to him. We've had the same conversation.
There are other slow people
with a number of other players, and I hate to even say this. This is not You should know this is not personal. I don't personally.
No, we're about to have on a guest that had this same issue
exactly
2 years ago.
This is not personal, and I think a lot of people think that I just love to be a jerk.
You kind of do sometimes.
Well, sometimes, but not regarding this.
I know you personally, and sometimes you do.
Sometimes I do. Not regarding this. I have no issues, whether that's Gannon or Nico or Cupcake or anyone else that's slow. I have no personal issues with you. And I don't believe I have to say that, but I will, because I don't have any issues with any of these people as human beings and as friends and or golf acquaintances or whatever you want to say. It clearly is coming down to rules and rules enforcement. And, one guy on my channel today said something or other about basically shut up, mind your own business, don't be such a Karen, is what he said with me talking about it. The problem is this part of this, though, is also my product. Yes, it is you playing, but it is also my product.
Should you, I guess this is a general question, as a media producer, cut that out? Are you losing some of the story by doing that? If somebody calls them on it, then you keep it in. But if nobody calls them on it, do you cut it all out as a media producer just to speed it up? Do you leave it in once? Do you leave it in? It's very difficult as a media person to understand the correct way to do it, because do you want to alert people, or do you want to produce what you think is maybe the best product? And honestly, maybe the way you did it is the way to produce the best product, because not only do you we're going to kind of go into whatever. Not only do you get the engagement from the fans screaming and yelling, getting the clicks without having to show it every time. You show it once and say, "Yeah, this is, he did this a lot."
Clearly the internet has proven there's no perfect way for me to handle it, because if you cut them all out, people will have this assumption and or presumption of, oh well, he's fixed it and or this isn't a problem. And that's clearly not the case.
Or they could say something along the lines of, well, Terry's playing favorites.
Exactly. And this, if we really want to rewind just a couple of years, this can go hand in hand in terms of other liberties, that artistic liberties that may or may not be taken by me or any of the production teams. When someone swears incessantly or acts out in any other capacity, does that get shown, or do they edit that out? Those are all questions that we've talked about for years as to whether or not do I have an obligation? Is there an obligation to edit someone swearing if they would like it edited?
No.
Or if someone's like, I don't really care, but somebody else doesn't want it in there for some capacity, for some reason.
As a viewer and someone who has very, very high integrity, Terry, myself.
You say.
I think if it's a single thing, there's no problem editing it out if you choose to. Like, as you as the media creator, maybe you don't want that on your channel.
Is that a mute? Is that a beep? Is that a
maybe a mute? If it's something where this particular player is excessive, you feel, or distraction by it, there's nothing wrong with swearing inherently, in my opinion. Do you want a PG channel that you feel like someone could sit down and watch with their kids? Like, oh, cool, Memorial's on. Let's get the family together and we're going to watch it. Me and my son and my daughter or my wife are going to hang out and watch round 3 of the Memorial. Maybe at that point you want it out just to be more PG, because you don't want someone to be like, well, I'm not going to watch my video with my family if there's going to be a ton of swearing in it. Is that per person? Is that in general? Now, if they're as a, we'll say, almost, not quite, because we're not, journalists and journalistic integrity, what are you going for with your video? Do you feel like you're a journalist or not?
Yeah, I will say,
then do you put that out there? I don't know. It's a good question.
You can continue to argue about it however you all wish. I understand. I've, just like many of the other controversial subjects in our sport, I've heard every angle. I've heard every side. And no matter what I do moving forward, there's no perfect way to handle it.
There's no right answer.
It is worth noting, though, yet again, this isn't personal. This is, but it is, like you said way earlier, this is part of the story of the event. And to be fair, there's plenty of people that have posted and said, I won't watch it. If I know so-and-so's in the group, maybe even regardless of the edit, they're at a point of frustration in some regard where they'll just say, I'm not going to watch that. There's people that post that. And that's where selfishly I say, yeah, this is still my product at the end of the day that I have a significant investment in time, energy, and effort and money into the product. I want a good product that's put out too. So it's a balancing act that I'll never get perfect because there is no perfect scenario or solution. But it is certainly something that came up. I saw Cupcake, I want to say both Saturday. I saw him Sunday night for sure when we recorded at Ricky's. And there was a funny interaction, and I reiterated to him. I was like, this is, this
not
isn't
personal.
Like, yeah. And he's like, no, you're just doing your job. And he goes, and and you got to get clicks. And I told him, I said, I'm not doing this for clicks. I said, what's happening with you is not earning me any favor. Like, it's not earning the channel any favor.
I might disagree. Not that, I might have a disagreement with that.
Does it get people fired up? Sure.
Yeah.
I'd rather just things be normal and not have any conversation about it. Okay. I don't need people arguing because half the time they're arguing against what I've done.
Here's what I'll say.
You can't please everyone.
If you want to look at it cynically, you're getting engagement on your channel. It might not be positive engagement, but it's engagement.
Yeah.
And engagement helps. Like when you get a ton of comments, it can help the YouTube algorithm. Like
sure. But I would do so much more if I was really just going to piss people off or really going for engagement. There's so many more things I would do, right? There's a lot more that I would do.
I know.
And my intent is not to piss people off. And that's why I said after the very first putt, I said, just so you guys know, I, for the most part, trimmed all of the putts down. And a lot of people are like, that's great to hear. That's the only thing that kept me watching because they don't want to watch all of the other ones.
Now, did you talk to Cupcake at all about the situation or about we'll say, quote unquote, the issue or the problem?
Yeah, I have in the past. And he's talked about it. He has a sense of, he knows he needs to putt. And there's an apprehension. I forget the exact word he used, but there's an apprehension where he just sometimes feels like he just can't let go of the putter. Like that's why you see so many pump fakes is because he feels like he's ready and then he goes to do it and he just can't let go of it.
So it's totally mental.
It's 100% mental, and he is well aware of it. I'll go as far as saying he has said, because he got warned back in October when I covered a Vegas event, and Gossage warned him during a round. He has said he accounts for a stroke or two to get penalized. He kind of expects it at this point.
Cupcake does?
Yes.
Okay.
He expects it. You're anticipating that you may get stroked an extra stroke or two because you know that you're exceeding the time limit. So
does he exceed? I know it's hard to say because does he exceed the time limit every single putt?
Not every single putt.
Percentage?
More than 50%.
Okay.
More than 50%. And then that's where I had made the comment during the round. I later on as we were talking about it, I said I was watching them, and I feel like his dare I call it a sweet spot? His sweet spot's about 48 seconds. Mm-hmm. 48 seconds, and I'm talking about placing your mini, no distractions, and then letting it go. You're talking 48 seconds.
Knowing that he's having a problem, we'll say, letting go of the disc, it makes me feel sorry for him.
Oh, understandably, 100%.
Like it's, as someone put on here, an OCD thing, kind of.
Sure.
I don't know if that's what it falls under, but I'm not a not a licensed therapist, so but we'll use that term. I don't know how to solve that then. Or because he literally could get stroked 15, 16 times if someone really wanted to. And that at that point, then why be on tour? And I want to see, dude, we saw a video to get behind him from him hit a basket with a monster headwind.
Yeah, whole nine.
He crushed that at Vista and hit the basket. And it is, to me, amazing watching guys just throw a hyzer on that shot. Whenever you go out over the pond or the lake or the whatever you want to call it, I'm always like, wow, that's a great shot. Someone risking going out because you could easily hyzer out. That dude in a headwind crushed it. He has
arguably the shot of the weekend.
He has so much talent that it hurts a little to watch him have these issues on the tee pad, because I wouldn't say he's a bad putter, but
he's a great putter.
But it just takes him so damn long. Like he needs and I can say this and not understand what's going on in his head, saying he needs to work on it. I don't know how you work on it. We've seen other players have putting issues on the tee. Evelina, she would Henna, Jen Allen. She was notorious for it a couple years ago, and Jen's a pretty good putter now. Like, you have to be able to find a way to clear your head. And
put it out there, he is working on it. He's well aware of it, all that other stuff. Obviously, the internet's not helping.
There's no way you're not aware of it.
He's fully aware of it, all of that other stuff. And if I don't think I have quite the quote, but I think AB said it Sunday night when
I want to go home and just give him a giant hug now.
When we were talking about it, kind of having this conversation, he was talking about clicks and everything else, me and Cupcake were, and then AB just said, I don't know, Cuppy, just putt faster. And I was like, okay, well, that's some advice. That's just let go of the disc, I think is what he said, or just throw the disc already.
That's great advice from a kid who, up until recently, has been known as like a not clutch putter from AB. The guy who will blow past a basket by 25 to 30 feet on a putt and then maybe miss the comeback. So as much as I love AB and I think he's a phenomenal talent and he's been a good putter recently,
yeah,
just let go of the putter.
I think he said, "Just putt faster, Cuppy." He was yelling it at him. It was pretty funny. So,
and those guys are friends.
Oh, so, everybody's friendly and friends, and we don't need to beat this horse any more dead for now. But it was a topic. It is the elephant in the room, unfortunately. And I hope nothing more than for him to get over it. And I know he's working on it, and I know it frustrates him, and I know it frustrates the rest of the planet. I want it resolved as well for everybody's sake. Anyway,
I have so many questions.
Somebody did have a great idea, though.
I have so many questions.
Let me just say this. Somebody said, "Here's your brilliant marketing idea, Terry. You produce a video that's with his full routine, but only for your Patreon members do you release the edited ones down." That might increase my Patreon support.
That is
if you want the edited.
If you want the edited version. All right. Well,
all right. Moving on.
Okay, we're going to talk about that actually.
No.
No, Terry. We're going to talk about you.
No.
Yes, you have to talk.
I like cupcakes and the cupcake.
Oh, I love cupcakes. I do love cupcakes. Oh, I love cookies too. Chocolate chip. Anyway. Okay. I was about to say we need someone on the tour nicknamed like Chocolate Chip, but we kind of have Andrew Marweed who's got that. So anyway, your channel, like it or not, Terry, this is news. Your channel hit 100,000 subscribers. You had a Patreon push that more or less said, if you're a Patreon supporter, when I hit 100,000, I'm going to send you out a custom disc of some sort.
If you were supporting me 2 months prior to it hitting.
2 months prior. So basically
if you just became a fan and a supporter in the last week. So thank you.
We'll say by January 5th or whatever it is, for 4th, 3rd, whatever. If you were a supporter, you got a disc. So your channel is now the 5th or 6th disc golf channel to hit 100,000 subscribers, would you say?
It might even be more than that. It might be 8, 9, or 10.
8, 9, or 10. Okay.
When you add in, I don't know where like an Innova, a Pro Tour. not sure quite where like a dynamic is at. And then obviously you have your Paul Macbeths, your Simons.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know, and a few of those other ones that have been around as well.
They don't count. I don't like them.
Yeah. Your Gatekeeper, your GK Pro, blah, 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 blah. All the other established channels.
So you've got 100,000 subscribers. First of all, congratulations. I know it's been a long time. I feel bad saying this almost. You're one of the first YouTube creators, and I feel like you're one of the last 100,000 subscribers. I
am. And there's a whole other
because you didn't dedicate your time just to the channel. You have gone 1,000 different directions. You and I in general we've done the podcast. We did the live broadcasting.
Yeah, YouTube is not my job.
YouTube was not a priority for you.
No.
But I obviously, as we all want to say, congratulations on 100,000.
Thank you.
I look forward to the unboxing video of your YouTube
silver
plaque,
play button,
your silver play button. Hopefully, we can get it here in the in the studio to take a look at. And it's well earned. It's well deserved. There's literally I truly feel this, and I'm biased. I'm going to say this right now. I'm 100% biased towards Terry Miller, who I've known for how old am I? I'm 40 plus. I'm Terry. I'm 40 plus. That's all we're going to say. Not quite my waistline.
About to be 46.
Shut your mouth. Not quite my waistline yet. 40
about to be
plus.
46.
But I've known you since we were about 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody I can think of in the disc golf world that has dedicated themselves to so many avenues of disc golf and been so successful and, for the most part, beloved. For the most part. I mean, we all are. That has earned this. And you've done a lot of things that I feel elevate you in the disc golf community. This, to me, is a minor one. This is just other people seeing your stuff. You've done so many other things, but just to have this, it's like, it really feels like a major milestone, but I kind of feel like it's a minor milestone, and that it's like, oh, cool, I got 100,000 subscribers on my channel. When you've done so many other things for our community. But it is an awesome benchmark to have for you personally.
Yeah. Thank you. It is. I at some point I'll probably make a little video out of it, talking a little more about it and some thoughts that I had. But the long and short of it is, like, when I started YouTube, 2010, January of 2010, there was no making a living on it. There was no making money from it. Nobody cared about a subscriber count. I think I remember after a year or so of having it, or maybe 2 years, I sent something to a couple of the prospective maybe sponsors once I thought I had a little traction. I'm like, I have 1,500 subscribers or whatever the number was. I have those letters somewhere still, those emails. And, and I've got, 29 videos out now, or whatever the number was. You didn't think about those things, and I still really didn't. The only time 100,000 as a number like really started creeping into my head was in the last year when I got to that high 80s, low 90s number, and I was like, oh, it'll happen maybe at some point then, and that'll be cool. But you certainly didn't. I didn't sign up back in those days. No one signed up with aspirations of specific milestones or specific numbers. Now, everybody that starts an account that's all you're concerned about almost.
And no shock that this happened at the Memorial, which is usually every year your biggest number jump.
Lately, it's been one of the bigger bumps
2 or 3 years.
Because I've been the exclusive content provider at the Memorial event. So that's where a lot of people end up finding or subscribing to the channel. So I'll just say, it's never a number or a thing I thought about, and for a lot of reasons, and they're not excuses, but for, like you said, we started live broadcasting in 2014. We started this channel, SmashBoxx, and I went from doing a number of events, post-production, to trimming that way back so that we could develop live disc golf, and then we started an entirely separate channel, and that's when we saw the likes of a McFly So High and a Joe Mez and a Central Coast continue to exclusively focus on post-production and then ramp up year after year after year, ramp up what they were doing. And my channel, I felt like just kind of slowly, I don't want to say, it just kind of slowly kept going. It wasn't a major focus. Of course, I've always loved doing the events that I do. But when you saw things start to shake out and we were fully invested in live, and you saw eventually contracts which weren't a thing, when you saw production teams and you saw the coverage develop the way it has, that's when you saw lead cards and massive growth by channels like Jomez. And I just had a different, I don't know, perspective. And I remember going to tournaments and be like, oh, McFly So High is like standing here first. Well, I guess he'll have that card. I'll go pick a different card to film. Yeah, like that's literally how things sometimes got decided.
I think
which sounds crazy today. It is crazy today.
Weren't there events that had like 2 camera crews covering the same card?
Absolutely.
At one point,
and there'd be sometimes where I'd be like, no, I really want to cover this card, so I'll stay here too. That's how coverage happened for years. And it's just so wild. It was truly the wild, wild west, literally out in Arizona for many years and then beyond. It was like I showed up and I had a camera, so I'd film some stuff. And then maybe somebody else would show up. And then maybe you'd play nice depending on who it was. Or, well, hey, I might get this camera. I might get this card tomorrow. Or I might do this or I might do that. Everybody had a different angle in which they were going at it. And then sponsorships became a thing. And then actual channels and post-production. It's funny where it all came from. Again, that's another day, maybe a drop zone. But
easy there, Mr. Beast.
It's, and then just thinking the science and the graphics and everything that goes into successful channels, of which I've still never figured out. The fact that I'm still the main editor,
what you need,
and I'm a one-man show that most events, and sometimes I have 1 or 2 extra cameramen, which I think to the heavens
your
for.
Thumbnails clearly need to have the players like in a shocked face. Like
I know
your fourth round with AB there on the back 9 should have just been like AB like.
Exactly.
With a giant open mouth, surprised, shocked look.
So
you're going to get more clicks that way, Terry.
I know.
Let's work on your engagement.
I wish, this is not going to turn into a complaint session either, but I will say I wish people did understand that there's the filming. We'll say most events. There's the filming for the 3 to 4 hours. There's the downloading and editing of the footage for another 3 to 5 hours. There's the commentary, which may be either alone or singular. Then there's the exporting, and then while you're exporting, you're making the graphics and writing up the description. When it finally uploads, depending if your internet's 30 minutes or 3 hours, when it's uploaded, there's the setting of the times and putting in all the information on YouTube. And then after all that's done, and that's like 12 or 14 or 16 hours, then you spend the next few hours posting at places. Instagram, Reddit,
Facebook, Twitter,
Facebook. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, there's so much to it that I think what is funny is most people don't realize, and it's hats off to all of the crews that have nearly perfected all of those processes, because I'm not there. I'm absolutely not there. Hats off to those crews that have made those investments, that have made those commitments, because it's a massive, massive undertaking. And it was really cool. Like you said, though, it was a moment when I'm sitting at the memorial, because it was the memorial of like 2014 or 15. For the first time ever in 4 or 5 years of my channel, I said, okay, I'm going to film every single throw. And do you know how stressful that was?
Yeah.
I was like, when can I go to the bathroom? What am I what if somebody throws? Like, it was a full 4 or 5 years into my channel existing, because it had all been reviews. It had been highlights, interviews, all this other random stuff. And then finally one day I'm like, I'll film it. And I remember thinking, who wants to watch a 100-foot approach shot that doesn't go in? Who gives a shit? Who cares? I'm not going to film every shot. I'm just here for highlights. I'll film them, but I won't show that. And I filmed every single shot of that round. And then unfortunately, there was almost no looking back. And that became one of the standards that every other channel also, was on board with. And I just remember thinking, God, that sounds miserable. And here we are.
You're like you were kind of like Blockbuster back in the
didn't want to. Yes, didn't want to adapt.
Who wants to see every shot?
I didn't.
We have videos. Who wants to stream this stuff?
I did not want to adopt or adapt at all.
I was there. I remember.
It's been wild. So anyway, you guys have seen all sorts of silly things, and I still have a million ideas.
Speaking of which,
don't share your idea.
I won't. But why didn't you do my idea?
It didn't work out. Hours in the day.
I had such a good idea, guys. Just wait, it's coming.
Someday it'll come to fruition.
It'll come to fruition,
and then we'll thank. With all of that being said, so thank you to everybody. Thank you to the Patreon supporters, the super chatters, all of that, and my sweet, kind pal Dustin, who ran out when I was getting close, and he wanted to go get some stouts, some specific stouts to celebrate. Dustin was there this weekend. All the cameramen, Johnny, I think has maybe helped on one of my 2,400 videos or so.
Oh, I've helped on more videos than that. I think I've done camera work for 2 or 3 rounds, but then I've held the camera for interviews in the early years.
That's true. Yeah,
much more than that.
So I owe my success all. Yes.
No.
But just so many people though along the way, and Johnny has helped with some technical ideas and thoughts.
I'm
and
the
graphics.
idea man. Yeah. I'm just like throw things. Like he basically just listens to what I say, and then he just does it.
That's why it took me so long to get there.
Well, yeah,
I listened to you too
probably.
Much. So there's a lot of good stuff. With all of that being said. One of the other big pieces of this weekend, though, regarding the channel, those fire intros.
Yeah, they were great intros.
They weren't great. They were phenomenal.
Like Fire Festival fire?
No, not that fire.
Oh, different.
You could pull up one of them if you wanted.
All right, let me hold on.
I have to. Like, LeMay Films was out there. You see my intro in round 1. Terry's standard meh intro. Rounds 2 through 4 on the MPO side. Johnny, maybe we'll pull one up for you here. You can pick any one of them.
All right.
Are you showing this to the world?
Hold on. I guess we're showing this to the world, Terry. Full screen this puppy.
Bringing in from the beginning. Big shout out LeMay Films. This isn't me. You guys know this. Everyone's like, damn.
Now you can't hear this. This is just Terry's talking over it. I don't think I have the audio up.
Okay, either way. This is not my work. You guys should know me better than this.
Yeah, we all know Terry doesn't have a lot of creative editing skills. Oh, that's really fancy.
These were phenomenal. Yeah, great transitions. And so LeMay Films, I hooked up with him. Hopefully we can contract. Yeah, this should be our whole podcast. Hopefully I can hook up with him more in the future. Graciously reached out. We had a great conversation super late at night on round number 2, the night of round number 2. And from there, he worked with me to get rounds 2, 3, and 4's intro. Again, you saw that? I said, I literally wrote him, like, dude, I can't put this in my video. People are going to think I'm leveling up, and I'm not. Like, you're making this magic for this weekend, but then I'm going to go back to my crappy old regular intros.
You can't create like a template for that?
No, I don't think so. So big shout out to LeMay Films, and thanks for helping out. Oh, all right. One thing I'm going to do is check in and see if we happen to have a Gannon ready. He said he's going to push to about 9:30-ish.
What? We said 9 o'clock. He can't push to 9:30. What are we going to talk about? We have a hard time talking about things.
No. Anyway. There's a lot of conversation about the channel, about the stuff. Thank you to everyone that's been along for this wild ride.
It's well earned, and it, like I said, it is disc golf news that another disc golf video creator gets to 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I think maybe this is what you were alluding to a little bit. I do take pride and a little bit of disgust in the fact that my channel is largely been, I don't want to say just me, because that's not clearly the case. There's been so many people that have been part of it, but it's me behind the wheel most of the time.
Sure.
As opposed to a lot of these other channels that have had a ton of success are a full-fledged team, which is the much smarter way to do it. So let's be very clear. I'm not claiming I'm smart, but all the other channels that are bigger every one of them has multiple people doing a lot of work, and that's the smarter way to do it. So
I'm looking for 6 figures, Terry. I can help you out.
Okay.
So if you can swing that for me.
Yeah, but you'd have to get creative and then learn how to do stuff. I'd pay you.
I could do this as much as I want.
Pay you as much as you want?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, damn it. Well, then
no,
you're
still not getting in it.
Get bent.
So
I don't like it. I don't like you anymore.
All right.
You're off the show.
Let's move on to some other, enough of all that. Other wild news. I mean, jaw-dropping. Almost.
What?
Yeah. Just flipping through the Facebooks the other day. What do we see?
Katrina Allen's pregnant.
Congrats to Katrina Allen.
Is that where you were going?
Yeah.
Okay, me too. Awesome. Congratulations, Katrina and
Wow.
Austin.
Yes. Congrats to them.
That's a phenomenal announcement.
I want to say that was Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday?
It was last week right after the podcast.
February 28th. She makes a post, and Katrina and Austin had as well. Makes a post. Austin and I are so excited to finally share our big secret. We are already so in love with her and can't wait to meet her in July. Katrina Allen and Austin Hannum having a daughter, July of 2024.
Cool. When is Macy due? June?
After that.
Oh, really? After that?
I
thought it was June or July as well.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of someone else. I know some pregnant people. No, I believe
famous words from Terry. I know some pregnant people.
I believe. Don't quote me, but I believe Macy is before that. Is due before that. I'm thinking of somebody else who's due after. Yeah, maybe Macy.
A disc golfer.
Someone
on the tour.
A couple people. Someone else who's also been very obviously public. A few weeks ago, Paul Ulibarri had mentioned that him and his wife, his newlywed Sarah, are pregnant, and I think they're not due as early as July. I know that sometime after.
No, they got married in November and basically add 9 to 10 months from there.
I don't know how the math works, but yeah, that sounds about right.
I think they're doing August.
Okay, so yeah, pretty cool. What in the world? I mean, if you're just gonna get out buy a ticket to the speculation train,
let's do it. Let's start rumors. Let's speculate.
I just think of obviously, I have 2 daughters. Think of the life change. Like the life change.
Sure.
Katrina Allen, who's been exclusively full-time on tour for the last 12 or 14 or 17 years, whatever it's been. It's been a lot of years. Now, with child, is that pulling off of the tour and not playing just for the first few months? Is that still on tour while Austin plays, or do they revert? I mean, these are good questions. Obviously, all for Kat
Austin
directly.
Austin takes care of baby, Kat plays.
Starting how soon?
I don't know. Here, I'm going to preface this. I am a fan of Katrina Allen, and I've had a lot of interactions with Kat off the course. She's always been wonderful. Austin as well. So everything I say at this point, I say it with love.
Okay. You can say something dumb?
I'm probably.
Okay.
I'm ready to stick my foot in my mouth at some point. Kat has a much higher potential for earnings than Austin does. Austin is a middle-of-the-line MPO player.
Oh.
So this is the mild take. Assuming that Austin, if I were in their shoes, after Katrina feels healthy enough to play after having their daughter, you hand that child off to Austin and you say, Mommy's going to go make some money. Because she has a much higher potential, assuming she's healthy, in form, all this other stuff, than Austin in her division versus Austin's division. I think that's a no-brainer. It's really funny that we have no clue what the plans were behind the scenes or whatnot. I'm very happy that they're doing it. It's really funny because having conversations and chatted with Katrina, like she didn't come off as a motherly person. And I know that's
well, I think
again, I've had few interactions with her. Less than
I'm not
you.
sure that child I'm not sure that child raising and having a child was a top priority.
Correct.
To
Then
her,
that's kind of
what I think you're trying to say.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm
saying she's not motherly could be taken wrong if
correct. I don't want to. I don't want to say like she's not caring, because she is. Again, in the conversations I've had with her, she's always been very friendly, very outgoing, very welcoming and warm. I'm very happy for them. I hope this is exactly what they want. I hope that they can stay on tour. But at Katrina's age, she's in her early 30s, right? She's 33. What is she, Terry?
She's closer to Master's age.
Seriously?
I know, and that is shocking, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but she is very close 36? To Master's age.
Oh, very close. For some reason, I in my head I had her at 33 or 36. Those are the two ages in my head. So anyway,
I'd rather bid low than high, but
I'm just saying that's why I went with 33.
And I mean no disrespect by it, and that's nothing but a compliment, because we're assuming that she is in fact younger than she is. Yes, but she is closer to Master's age.
But at her age, having a kid, and then like I'm not going to get into like whatever like the kid thing, but recovering from that at her age and then getting back into a pro athlete status is going to be more difficult than someone younger, like we'll say a Macy Vela-Diaz. Like
maybe, of course,
not maybe it is. It's more difficult.
Yeah, I was going to say
genetics,
just pure age and genetics tell you that. Yes,
like that's. I'm not saying she can't do it. She's an athlete. I was
just going to say she's
been an athlete her whole life.
Yeah, and that's the caveat I would add to that is. There, I think, are very few women out there in disc golf that are currently taking their health and their physique and their their regimen and their routines
the last
and their daily
years.
Fitness more seriously than her. So you are right. Age may not be on her side.
You can't fight age.
Her current routine and regimen are on her side, maybe more than 99% of the rest of the field. So
the rest of the world, probably.
Yeah, that too. So I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree. Yeah, obviously, age isn't in her favor. Mm-hmm. However, she's also, I think, the way that in which she takes care of herself and her physique and the fitness and the goals that she has and the discipline and the routines, I feel like is almost unmatched in the FPO division.
Correct.
Right? And she's been very clear about that and very dedicated to all of that. And that's, again, nothing but a compliment to her.
When I think of, like, physical fitness and personal disc golf dedication and growth, I think of a few FPO players. Kat is at the top of the list practically, along with Holland Hanley, Ella. I just had one more in my head and it's falling out of my brain. But we'll just say those three right there. Like those are the three that I see regularly post about their physical fitness regimen.
Yeah.
Oh, Kristen Tatar. Like those are the four players that when you talk about someone who is putting in the time, like in the gym, in putting in the reps, like those are the four women that I see out there working the hardest. Not to say the others aren't. Maybe they're just not posting about it. I don't necessarily think you have to post everything in the world, but Katrina has been very vocal about her physical fitness. So there is a big question mark. There has to be about Katrina after a child.
I think that's fair.
A child
more for her than Macy, for instance, just because of her age.
Agreed. A child, that's a whole change in your life. That there's a possibility that after she has a kid, she's just like, maybe I don't want to tour. I want to be a mother.
That's a different lifestyle.
That's a whole different lifestyle.
It's a whole different world.
Or maybe she's like, cool, maybe this actually motivates her more. Like, hey, I got a family. I need to bust my ass and get on that course and make a crap ton of money. I don't know what her mentality is going to be. I wish her the best of luck. I'm really excited to see it. And at some point, I like to hold babies. I like to hold them. So I haven't had a chance to be able to hold the Macbeth baby. I've never dropped it. Well, other than my own. We talked about this last week. I've never dropped a baby. So but I hope to be able to hold baby Alan Hannum.
Hannum? Hannum Allen?
I don't know.
Maybe there'll be more announcements soon.
Oh, maybe.
All right. So,
anyway,
again,
congratulations.
Congrats. This is the long and short of that. Yes, certainly congratulations. And it's fair to say it does bring into question what we'll see from her in the next couple of years with this new development. You think so often of, and we use Macy in stark contrast just because of her age and her fresh perspective on the tour. Very much could likely see her come back and be back out there. I don't want to say as if nothing happened, but be back out there. Kat is just at a different stage in her life, and we'll see how she ultimately wants to react to that.
Yeah, I mean, look at Paige Shue, who had a child 3 years ago, and is probably just as good as she was ratings wise. I think the rest of the field has changed based on what Paige had her success a couple of years ago, but there's no reason why you can't get out there and keep after it.
All right. So, yeah, certainly, needless to say, big news. Congratulations to them.
It's awesome.
And looking forward to it. Oh, looks like I have to send Gannon a link of sorts, and I'm trying to think if we've had one lately. Let me do what I got to do here for a second. All right. Do you want to quickly, well, we have just a few more minutes before Gannon joins us. Do you want to quickly talk a little bit about what you think or assume or know about Waco this weekend?
Sure. I think we kind of discussed it. All I know about Waco this weekend, we're having a production meeting tomorrow. So Waco, DGPT Plus event, which means that it's worth more in the DGPT standings. I think that there's 4 rounds, 2 different courses. We've got the Beast, Brazos East, and then the golf course. Is that considered
Lake something? I heard it in the
whatever.
I don't think it's Lake Waco.
Yeah. If you want to talk storylines, we talked about Kristen Tatar coming back. This is her first event on the Pro Tour. What are we going to see from Kristen? Is she going to have some rust to knock off? You've got the story of Ella Hansen, who played so well last year, and just will she be able to continue that this year? And then ended up with the heartbreaker at the end, kind of crumbling in the last 3 holes or so. Can Kyle Klein repeat year after year for Waco, or can AB repeat week after week? When do you know the last time we had a back-to-back MPO winner on the Pro Tour? I honestly don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I really don't know either.
Okay. So, all right. Well,
that's a Statmando.
That's a Statmando question. So
we're not that smart. I think we need Statmando on our podcast. Can we borrow them for a little while?
We could. Statmando, get us the answers. I bet you the answer is Ricky. I don't know why. I just think it's probably Ricky. So, and you've got a few people that didn't make the Florida trip coming onto the tour now.
Sure.
So you've got a few different storylines that we're going to be looking at for Waco this week. Is there anything particularly that strikes you? Or can Vinny recover? Vinny shot poorly last week, and can he make the recovery to get back on the saddle, so to speak, without a solid forehand? Was he just rusty? Is this a sign of things to come for Vinny? I doubt that, but it's a storyline that we can focus on.
I think one of the biggest questions will be, and I believe we just received the drone previews today, which I haven't gotten a chance to look at. I think the biggest question will be, what does this other course look like? I know it was in some ways tested and utilized maybe even the last 2 years, at least last year, for some other divisions that had a chance to play it or that was being discussed. Will it play like, and what will it be like this year? I think that's one of the biggest stories, because everybody knows the Beast and Brazos East Park, and knows the Beast course and what we've come to expect from it. It's been on the tour, I think, since 2016. I think was it one of the original 5? No. If it wasn't the first year,
I think it was the second year, because I think the first year was Nick Hyde, right, and not Waco.
Exactly. So that sounds about right.
I know things.
So I think that's ultimately probably the biggest question to be answered out there from a non-player perspective. We've seen some posts. Lots of players have been, on social media and made various posts about it. And then, like you said, there's a number of players that are coming from other parts of Texas Some players took the weekend off, didn't play anywhere, and then some players that were coming all the way back from Arizona. I know Gannon and Silas and Isaac and Gavin and all those guys, Alden, they were getting up. It was Sunday night. They were getting up at like 4 a.m. on Monday to fly to ultimately get to Baton Rouge, where Silas was, and then they were going to drive 8 hours from there still to the course. Like, it was a full day of travel and then some. And, Drew Gibson, for instance, I think, on the other hand, drove an RV from Arizona and arrived in Texas today. So, like, all these players, some have been there for a little while, taking their time, and some haven't. So all these players just getting geared up for now a 4-day weekend. So it's kind of funny to hear a few of them that were in Arizona, like, it's just such a short turnaround. We don't have a lot of time to practice. So it's like, well, that is kind of what you signed up for when you wanted to still commit to playing in the Memorial, which I'm glad they did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that provides a much shorter weekend or week leading into the tournament. So I guess we'll see. Let me send Gannon one final message. And it looks like he's going to be hopefully ready to go here relatively soon.
As soon as he logs in, we'll get him on.
And we can talk to him a little bit more. And I know we talked about it earlier as well with regard to the Memorial coverage. One of the conversations was having Goose on the mic. He was very well received, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. And then similarly, a lot of people really enjoyed, outside of their assumptions, enjoyed hearing the insights out of Gannon as well. And Gannon really had a good time last year when he was doing Memorial coverage, commentating, and it seemed to be really well received. So, it's I guess we'll see how many more players continue to want to, dip their toes into that. I know you said something about my channel, I'll say discovering or asking of these people. It certainly intrigues Goose from a perspective that he really likes to break things down for himself, and then he's really good at communicating that and then sharing that knowledge with others. And I think that's part of what was so well received. I remember a few weeks ago hanging out with him, and just very healthy discussions about par fours and strategy and course design. He's
a very thoughtful golfer.
Incredibly. Very much so. So, all right. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the board. I see someone says, first impression, not enough trees.
I mean, it's a golf course in Texas. What do you expect? I think that this is being played on a 9-hole golf course, and that they're using as much of the trees as they can.
Okay.
I haven't seen the course. I've seen a few of the hole maps, but other than that, I haven't dug into the course as much as I will probably over the next day. Because as I said, I'm doing the switching for the MPO division, so not the FPO.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep, just MPO. Our FPO director has other obligations that he wants to take care of, so I'll be doing the MPO not directing, switching, producing. Yeah, directing, not producing.
Directing.
I'm the director. So when you have an issue with the shots that I select, bad. You don't like the switches that I make, bad.
Ooh.
Deal with it.
Were there any other announcements or news with regard to DGN apps or developments or changes or fixes or updates that are expected this week that we know of? Does that sound familiar?
I have not heard anything as far as what the DGN is doing. I know that they're making. I barely caught part of a production meeting this week where they had a list of things they were working on. I didn't get a chance to really look at it, and even if I did, I don't know if I would be at liberty to say. I do know they are continuing to work on the app, but I don't know if anything has been
significantly enhanced or changed or updated or fixed or addressed.
Some real quick PDGA news, I guess we'll bring up. Todd Lyon, friend of the show, friend of us, he was promoted to Deputy Director of Event Support. You can read about it out on the PDGA website. I don't exactly know what that job does, but it says promoted, so he was not demoted. That's all I can ask
Wouldn't
for.
Wouldn't that be great if
they announce it?
If they announced demotions.
Todd Lyon demoted to. Congratulations, Todd. He's always been friendly with us and helpful for the show, and just in personal, just hanging out with him a little bit that we have. He's just a phenomenal human being. So congratulations, Todd, on your promotion.
Todd not pregnant.
No, Todd is not pregnant. So they are offering, the PDGA is doing a big renewal push. I think they have got some prizes for people who renew.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which I renewed.
Yeah, now you're probably not eligible.
A couple of years ago, I did the 3-year renewal thing. So what's up with PDGA? And is my name in that hat?
Probably not.
I don't know. And the PDGA made an announcement about the outage that they had. It was related to the DGBT traffic or something along those lines, and that they have resolved it. They feel they've resolved it, and we shouldn't see that issue any longer. So.
And now also, isn't there a new feature that they're talking about that is going to be applicable to smaller events?
There is. The throw tracker is now available in real time, it says here. It says, from your local C tier to the Disc Golf Pro Tour to PDGA Majors, tracking scores is right at your fingertips via the recently updated PDGA Live app and website. This past weekend, new features such as throw tracker and expanded statistics debuted on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and more expected to roll out soon. So keeping score and following scores no matter the level of event has never been easier. And then it gives some ins and outs as to how to do it. So I believe that we're going to start seeing, some of these features rolled out to everyday tournaments, which I honestly didn't expect to see this year. I assumed they would kind of hold a little closer to their chest until next year.
So that's going to be great. So when I am at a Pro Tour event, I will be able to go to Johnny's live scoring for a weekend he's not working, but instead playing in a local B tier, and I'll be able to see Johnny putting for birdie from 7 feet.
70.
It won't be a double bogey from 70. It will be putting for birdie from 7.
I hope so.
Okay.
Gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
And if you're doing the broadcast, I do fully expect you to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. I would interject. I'd be like breaking news, breaking news.
Sexton, shut your mouth.
Johnny V is going to get his second birdie of the round. We're on hole 17. Johnny V, second birdie of the round, folks.
It's a 180-foot hole. I know I've played it. It's a hyzer. Pretty stock hyzer. You got to miss one tree, but he's looking at birdie from 7 feet. Oh, he misses it. Too bad, Johnny.
Yeah.
Now I'm a good putter. I'm not going to miss a 7-footer.
No, but we will make sure to get those updates. And speaking of this weekend, I think specifically, I know you just talked about you being part of the control room. I believe it's just Val and I in the mornings for the FPO coverage. And I think Nate Sexton, if I have my math right, I think Sexton's at the event. And
he's playing.
Okay.
He took 9th last year.
Okay, well, with that being the case, that means it'll be Nate and I in the booth. There's a number of other events, quite a few for the rest of the year, where it's Doss, Sexton, and myself. It's the three of us. This weekend, I believe it's then, rightfully, understandably so, it's going to be just Doss and I, and no Sexton. But I think that means we get Sexton for quite a few events that were in Bend during the rest of the year.
That's great. And the PDGA has updated their PDGA MPO and FPO world rankings. Not a lot of movement. We saw Isaac Robinson move up 2 spots. He's technically in 4th. We saw Paul Macbeth move down 2 spots. He's in 6th. So they swapped places. Kyle Klein bumps up a spot to 9th, and Chris Dickerson drops down a spot to 10th. Those are your MPO world rankings. Your FPO world rankings, just a little bit different. Kristen Tatar, she's going to be on first. I think she could be in first if she took the year off. She is.
That'd be an interesting strategy.
That's got to play the strategy that works for you. Second place, Owen Scoggins. Third place, Evelina Salonen jumps up, as well as Henna Blomroos jumps up 3 spots into 4th. We see Missy Gannon staying put at 5th. A lot of up movement here. Holland Hanley jumps up 2 spots. Paige Pierce drops 4 spots, and Haley King drops 4 spots. Ella Hansen up 2 spots. Katrina Allen staying put at 10th.
Interesting. Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Those are your world rankings.
Are those your favorite rankings?
These are new kind of rankings, so I would say they are my current favorite.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if UDisc was going to continue theirs.
Okay.
But they are not, I believe. So which makes sense because they don't have all the statistics anymore, so they probably can't do all the figuring that they had at some point. I'm sure if they really wanted to, they could probably pull the stats from PDGA, but they've chosen not to. So I don't believe they're updating their rankings. But to be fair, I haven't checked. But I'm fairly certain they have kind of even udisclive.com. Go to standings. Yeah, they don't have anything for, and I go to world rankings. And
rankings are updated through September 29th, 2023.
October 29th.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm really tired.
You are really tired.
I literally just looked at it.
I know.
I said September as I'm staring at the word October. So that's weird.
So they are not updating their world rankings any longer like they used to.
Huh.
But, that's fine. Good for them. Some other PDGA news in general. The World's invites were pushed out. There's some Champions Cup invitation criteria was announced, and they did some update to their certificates of insurance, which is one of the big benefits of having a sanctioned event.
Yeah, is getting that certificate. I think they're making it easier when they're talking about being able to get your hands on those, and especially for people that are running multiple events. I will just make the quick note. I don't know if it's mentioned in there or not. When you run a PDGA sanctioned event, you are in part then getting insurance. The challenge is a lot of municipalities will request or require a certificate confirming that said insurance. Like, so you can go to a parks department and say, yeah, it's going to be PDGA sanctioned. It's a B tier, it's a C tier, it's an A tier, whatever it is.
Show me that insurance.
And basically that's what they say is, yeah, that's cool. You can tell us that, but we need an actual certificate or a document stating that. And that's one of the services that the PDGA provides, is providing that certificate of insurance, which is just always an extra step. And it's a little bit sometimes tedious or laborious to go through in terms of making sure you acquire it and then show it to them. And it sounds like the PDGA is trying to make that process a little bit easier and more efficient overall, which is great. All right, Gannon says he is ready in 1 sec.
All right,
as he states.
Should we have Gannon in our quote unquote after show? Should we close this show, come back, and have Gannon?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. We'll start fresh.
Start fresh with a Gannon after show?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, let's wrap this up. We'll do a Gannon after show.
Yeah, well, he'll be our headliner for the after show.
We haven't done an after show guest in a while.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
I know it is.
You're so smart. You should start a YouTube channel and then do all disc golf stuff.
I don't want to do disc golf stuff for YouTube channel. I do other things.
All right. Well, with that, we are going to close it out. We'll make Gannon the main guest, headliner, exclusive solo guest for our after show, which will keep everybody on their toes. Thank you to everyone that joined in, signed in, all of our Patreon supporters and subscribers, all of our regular subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We'll, of course, have a giveaway in the after show where we're also going to have Gannon join us, but we'll have our Patreon only giveaway take place over there, and we'll get some stuff to make that happen. So what is this, $4.96? Yeah, sure, $4.96 for Johnny V. I'm the Disc Golf Guy. That's SmashBoxxTV's podcast, $4.96. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Gannon Buhr join us, and we'll have our after show, and we'll see if things get off the rails from there. We'll see you then. You step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV Podcast 496's
After Show. We should have brought Gannon in for the harmony.
Oh,
Go for a
man.
trio.
Yeah, that would have been good. Get all three of us
Instead of just our duet.
in sync. Let's try it with him anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our champion from this last weekend's Memorial Championship presented by Discraft, Gannon Buhr.
Hey, Gannon.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello,
Gannon.
what's up?
All right, we're going to do this again. It's going to be, I'm going to introduce it, and then you, in harmony, in sync with us, got to go with the after show. You ready for it?
Wait, what do I'm just saying.
Yeah,
what am I
you
saying?
After show.
Yeah, you have to
just
say after
it
show with us.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in to SmashBoxxTV Podcast 496's After Show.
Good enough.
Close enough. There's a little
We got
delay.
it. We nailed it.
All right, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Got into Waco late last night, and practiced the Lake Waco course today. Always cool to have a approach over, so that was interesting. And then tomorrow is the last practice day. Actually, it's gonna be it's been a busy last couple weeks because obviously with the travel to Memorial, and then we had 4 rounds, and then we travel right here, and then I have 2 rounds of practice only, and then I have to play 4 more rounds for a tournament. So it's been busy, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it. The more disc golf, the better.
So I 2 questions. One, how do you like the new course? And second, are you only allowed 1 practice round a day, or are you just keeping yourself fresh?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it's really too beneficial to play more than 1 practice round. I don't even really need to throw shots. I just need to see where the landing zones are at. So that's kind of all that matters for me. Usually I play horrible in practice. Like for Memorial, I pretty much got dead last of my entire group at every practice round. So it's more about just learning the course and then performing when the time comes. The new course it's pretty interesting. You can definitely tell it's like a brand new course. The biggest issue is probably the tee pads. And I've heard it's because the golf course didn't want like tee pads on the ground, so every tee pad's built up. And you have to step up onto the tee pad, so it's a little bit annoying. A couple of them you have to actually step up probably like that much, which is a lot. Now the turf is very, very good on the tee pads. You're probably not going to see any slips this weekend, which is nice. When you have turf, it's always good to see it done right. So that's awesome. But the course had starts off with like 3 pretty gimme par 4s that you pretty much almost have to be 300 through 3 to feel pretty good. And then you go through, 4 through 7 is kind of the new section of the course that they cut out, it looks like, and it's pretty rough. It looks, I'd say bad. There's sticks all over the ground. You can just tell it's brand new. And who knows? Maybe it'll beat in if we keep using this course. But the course isn't like scenic or anything. Nothing too special about it. But the actual design itself, I think, plays fine. It's fair. It's definitely going to be one of the easier courses on tour. I'm definitely looking to shoot double digits there for sure. There's a few holes of danger, but not really. It's really just about picking your landing zones. It's pretty open, and then there's just some trees you got to kind of maneuver around. Not really throw any. There's only like 2 gap shots, maybe 2 or 3 gap shots. More of it's like trying to move your distance down the fairway, quite a ways down the fairway. But it'll be a good addition to have open and woods for this tournament.
Yeah, because I always felt like Brazos East was a really almost perfect combination of wooded and open park style golf. And that the first 2 or 3 holes you have at Waco, relatively open, then you get into the woods, but then you come out for 14 through 18, or 15 through 18, I forget.
13, yeah.
13.
Yeah, 13 through 18. And I that's one of the reasons I always loved the Waco course in general, is that I felt it was a really good mix for having 1 course. So having the second course will be really interesting.
Yeah, and I'll follow that up, Gannon, and say, I believe Waco comes in also with everything Johnny just said, is the shortest course on the tour. Mm-hmm. And now here we're going out and having the availability of this golf course. Talk about the length, because the number one comment everybody says about golf courses is they're long and boring. So I have no idea what the length is, and I know you kind of just described the course, but how do you feel like it fits in overall, and what do you think about the overall length of it?
I don't know, I've heard some like mixed opinions. I'd have to like think a lot about it, but it felt like almost every par four, like it'd be, I mean, you can do whatever off the tee, but let's just say it's a driver off the tee, and the upshot's with a soft putter. And it's not even wooded, so it's like it's kind of similar to like Jones Gold a couple years back, where we saw a lot of like 14 unders, where the par fours were literally 650 feet wide open. You bomb one, and then you throw a 150-foot approach, tapping your birdie almost every time. It's maybe a little bit longer than that, and then some of the par threes are kind of long. So the par threes are definitely tougher out here. But yeah, almost every par four is pretty dang short.
Okay, so I know you just said double digits. Go on record. I'll clip this. Go on record. What do you think will be A, the hottest score of the weekend, and then B, what's like the
Alden's score?
Yeah, and then B, like what's the bare minimum that you think people need to be shooting on it?
Well, if you're looking to win the tournament at Lake Waco, minimum 7 under, I think.
Okay.
I mean,
per round.
I was 6 under through 9 today playing practice, and I don't play good in practice. So
Okay.
that's a little bit of an indicator. The back nine is definitely harder. It's definitely a lot harder than the front nine. The front nine's like get your birdies and get out. You want to be at least 4 under, for sure 5. I mean, I guess the other way around, but around that number. If you're 3 or 2 under, you're kind of honestly toast for the round. You won't be able to get too far under par. But I think it does test a good amount of skills. There's a couple different types of tee shots. There are a lot of flex lines, I felt like, which is going to help me out. I like ripping over overstable stuff and having it come back late. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it'll play good. I think for the tournament, the winning score will probably be, depending on conditions. Obviously, conditions is a big thing, but anywhere from like 32 to 38 under, I think we'll be winning.
Wow. Someone on the board had said 45. They thought 45 was going to win it. That seems pretty hot, but yeah.
See, I can see that, but at the same time, like you say that with every tournament, and then it almost never happens. Like you're like,
sure,
yeah, you want to be shooting, 7, 8, 9 around, and then like AB at chess.com average 6 around in one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like you can shoot 10 down, no problem, but it's just not going to happen consistently. You're going to run into trouble. I mean, same thing with like the Memorial. Like it'd be like hard to say, I won Memorial with 36 under, and then that someone's going to shoot 9 strokes more under par at harder courses. It just like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think back, and real quick on the Memorial, I think back, I believe like Hammis a couple years ago went like 14 and 15 under on the first 2 rounds. He was 29 under through 36 holes.
Yeah.
And then here you won this year's event at 38 as a total. And we know Vista is tougher to score on, so to speak. But yeah, the year to year doesn't necessarily always translate in terms of scores. Now, you guys are going, is it the Beast, then the Lake, then the Beast, then the Lake? Are you guys alternating?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about that versus like 2 rounds at one and then 2 rounds at the other? And then finally, do you like the idea of finishing at the Lake, of course?
Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense to finish at the Lake because it's more spectator friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes sense to finish there. I definitely prefer the Beast over the Lake course.
Okay.
Just because I think the Beast is it's just more fun to play, more iconic. Good, like you said, woods open mix. It's literally 9 and 9 woods and open mix. So good mix there. I don't know. It's kind of tough because even just for Memorial, we went first 2 rounds at Fountain, last 2 rounds at Vista.
Yeah.
It can kind of be good because you kind of get for that like second round of the course, you kind of get your tournament feels. You know what to do on every hole. It just feels like you're more in rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you alternate courses, it feels like it's tough to get into rhythm sometimes. But I feel like I probably like alternating better just because it's more of a challenge. And it makes it so somebody just can't get hot for 2 days in a row. You got to play hot at both types of golf.
Fair enough. So let me follow that up and say, and this obviously can include yourself, who do you pick? If you're a betting man, who are you picking either to win and or at least finish in the podium, the top three? Like, after you've described the course and your overall practice and everything else, who do we see? Who are we going to see in the top three in, like, I don't know,
whose skills
96
match
hours?
these courses?
Yeah, I think for sure I'd put Ricky in there. I think he's just going to overall play really good at the golf course too. He just has every kind of shot, and he's due for a win, I feel like. Obviously, finished the season with a Pro Tour Finals win, but he needs to get one early on in the season. So he'd probably be my number one pick to win the tournament. I do think it fits my game pretty solid. Like I said, flex shots in the Open, and Waco was my first kind of breakout event when I was 15 back in 2021. So I feel pretty good. Obviously, like, I've actually never had a great finish at Waco. My best finish is 11th, which was my first year there. Other than that, I've gone like 11th, 25th, 25th. It's always been like my worst finish of the year. So this year, I'm hoping to make a change, and not just make a change for the event placement, but like play good at the Beast for once.
Okay.
For a whole tournament, and so it's definitely shreddable, and you just got to get it done. You can't let the course eat you. Basically, there's definitely some in the woods there. You can take some big numbers, but the tough part's getting a lot of birdies, because people will be getting a lot of birdies. Trying to think of my final person. I mean, these days you can kind of go with anybody. I mean, I could see Kyle Klein playing really good again with the par fours not being that long at the Open course, and obviously he's won in the woods before. And he started off the season pretty solid with a top 5 finish at chess.com. I mean, I would be surprised. I'd bet a lot that we all finish in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, historically, Waco has provided some different winners. I mean, for a while it was like the roll the dice winner. You had Germ go back to back in playoffs. We saw Colton, Nico, Kona at one point on FPO. It has been a unique event for winners. So wouldn't. I mean, again, we're throwing the golf course in here now, so it's going to change a lot. Actually, I want to go back and let's talk more about your recent win here at the Memorial. Why? I guess I'll start with the question: why do you go and play the Memorial? I mean, it's way out of the way. You went from Florida all the way over to Arizona, then back over to Louisiana. What drives you to go play that particular event? And do you see yourself doing that like again and again in the future?
Yeah. Well, one, we get to stay at Ricky's house for free, and it's like the most fun weekend ever. That's like the best thing, because it's like a huge party the whole weekend. And you have the hot tub, you have the cold plunge, you have the practice baskets.
Pools,
really just a really
poker,
fun time.
card table,
it's just like
pool table. Yeah, it's the ultimate bachelor pad.
It's really just like the best thing ever. So that's, I mean, it kind of, so now I was a big fan of the All-Star event when it was in Tucson. That was more, it kind of felt like just a really fun time, and it felt like the week lasted a long time because you were doing so many fun things. Now, with the location technically being better for the tour in Florida, I definitely did not really enjoy the All-Star event this year. It was a little just boring in my opinion, because, I mean, there wasn't a ton to do. But I think for the tour, it is better to start in Florida. But so now the Memorial for us is kind of a little bit more of the All-Star event, and especially winning it. I mean, I've always wanted to play the Memorial, and when I won it last year, I was like, well, we're definitely coming back the next year. Me and the boys planned it out. The weekends worked out perfectly. We had a good plan because Silas Schultz lives in Baton Rouge, which is just right where you drive through to get to Waco anyway, like within like 5 miles of his house. So we just parked at his house, flew to Baton Rouge. Really, we just added like an 8-hour trip. We just 4 hours of flying, 4 hours back, done. And then you just finish your drive from Florida to Waco. You go back to Baton Rouge and finish it. So it really only added like 8 hours to the trip, even though it feels like you are on the other side of the country pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I got to come back again, until I lose, which could, will probably happen next year. I mean, who knows with these days anymore. Obviously, if I could go 3 times in a row, that'd be so sick. But I mean, I think it's just a fun time and a very historic event, and the payout's very good. I got 5,500 for first, both years, which is, I mean, basically like a low paying Elite Series tournament. So, yeah, very very good paycheck if you're able to play good, and there's not a ton of high high skill depth in the field. You have like 6 players that are always pretty dang good in the world that go to that tournament. You have a couple mid levels, and then you have a lot of low levels. So that's another reason you see the ratings go up a lot. But it also just makes, even if you have a bad weekend, you still get decent cash no matter what. So not only is it a fun weekend, I won last year. I knew I was going to make money this year, and it was just a great time overall.
And this is arguably your first big win with Discmania.
Oh yeah. It's my only win with this mania.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't say for sure. I didn't know if you had, like a small local.
No, he's not slumming any C tiers.
I didn't know if you were slumming a B or C tier or something along those lines.
But I have done that before. I did play 2 C tiers this offseason. I played one with my Prodigy bag in like December, and then I played one open bag in before I had announced my Discmania sponsorship.
And speaking of which, somebody asked on the board if there was going to be a trophy disc or some kind of commemorative disc from Discmania regarding this win. Do you know if that's in the works? I know it's not on one of the tours, so to speak, but do you know if that's in the works?
I don't think we're going to do anything for it.
Okay.
But I will say, with just my Gannon Buhr disc that will be coming out pretty soon, I'm going to be I'm going to test some stuff out here in the next couple days and couple weeks. So, I'll have some pretty cool Discmania releases here soon. So, if no memorial disc, but you can get a Gannon Buhr disc.
What exactly what should we be expecting that's going to be dropping? Like what style and what was how did it get developed?
Yeah, so I'm getting a couple different Creator Series discs, which are just this that I helped design and kind of give my input. And Discmania has been really awesome to work with because they have a program that they can basically have drawings, and then I can kind of say what I want and how I see them. It shows me the profile of the disc, and I can affect the nose and the wing and the shape. Obviously, you have to still match the weight standards and stuff, which is tough as always. But so yeah, obviously we're working on a putting putter. I have been known for putting in my past. I haven't been putting great recently, which that's not really. It's not the putter's fault. It's probably my fault. I need to obviously adjust. But I also didn't putt good in the off season, so it's kind of just a continuation of that. I putted pretty good today, so putting definitely felt better today.
Okay.
It was definitely my best feeling putting day I've had in like 4 months probably.
And is that nice. Do you think that's because of the change? I mean, you putted with the same putters for many years, and now you've got a new disc. I mean, obviously, as we know, there's almost nothing wrong with any disc. It's always in the user. Everyone has their own preference. Some people love a bead, some people don't.
Yeah.
Finding the right putter for you could take, some time, or you're going to have to create it. Do you feel like you're looking forward to your own creation, so to speak, more so than what you're using now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so I'm using the Exo Hard Link right now. Actually, on right here. It's got a pretty similar profile to my old putters. It's got a bead on it, and it's the right depth. It's a little more rounded right here, and so it's a little bit straighter and has more glide. Where my old putters, I'd putt flat and they'd go and then they'd dump. These ones kind of you go straight, and so it's just ingrained in my muscle memory to hang it out right and then let it fade in. And I missed a ton of putts low this weekend because I'm terrified to put it in the air because I'm worried it's just going to glide too far. So it's all just in my head, I think. And I mean, like I said, we're working on it. But yeah, putting felt a lot better today. I definitely it's tough to adjust your putt mid tournament for Memorial, and so I just kind of today tried to have my aim point be a little more left, not necessarily left of the basket, but more just on the center of the pole. Sorry, there's a mosquito in here that is terrifying me. It's this big.
You are in Texas now, where all the insects are just ginormous.
Well, I know. I might just die. Whatever. But yeah, so I got putter that we have been. Okay.
Is that the mosquito? That is a large mosquito.
I just got pranked by somebody. It scared the crap out of me. I wish I could just talk on here and not get pranked.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So we got the putter coming out eventually. I don't have a date on that yet. We still have to, once I get the prototypes tested out and see if there's any changes or if they're good, we can go ahead with the process. But also working on a driver. So I'm really excited for that. And I think the goal with the driver is to have it be a pretty neutral flying driver where it's just like pros can use it for shots they want a little more glide, and then for AMs they're just like glidey straight to overstable driver, not just like, I mean, I feel like a lot of drivers out there right now for AMs are just like meat hooks no matter what. And so I want something that they're actually able to throw, and then that pros will also throw because it feels good and it has a consistent just like flat release and flip and kind of turn the whole way. So we're gonna be trying it out.
Yeah, I love a disc that like feels good in your hand, but then also
holds any line
you put it on, and then is good used by everybody. Yeah, all the key phrases in every disc review that could possibly be there. And it feels good in every plastic. It feels good in every plastic.
Like,
and it fits every budget.
Because, yeah. It's too bad because every single disc review ever on the earth says that.
I know.
Yeah,
it's one of my pet peeves. Like, I almost wish people on disc reviews would be like, yeah, this thing's trash. It feels terrible. It's fluky. It flips over weirdly. Like, I wish people were just honest with their disc reviews. And so, like, with that being my pet peeve, I actually want to have my disc be a good disc. That is actually all those things. So
yeah, me too. I mean, every disc I've ever reviewed feels good in the hand. It holds any line I put it on. Okay. You're right. And we've been saying this literally for years, and it's part of the reason why disc reviews are always so funny to me. And let's be fair, you throwing a disc and the way it works for you is nothing like how it's going to fly for 99.5% of the rest of the planet. And that's where I inherently also always have issues with disc reviews, is because they're so dependent on the actual person's throwing skills. And that's why
especially
I don't care about what disc someone's throwing.
Like once drivers lose their speed, they always just go for everyone. But like mids and putters, you can kind of get away with it. They'll fly somewhat similar, but like the drivers, like there is a way to make a consistent driver where the flight path is actually like smoother. It's better. Like there's certain runs that I like that, you can just like, here's one of them. This is one of the new C-Line DD3s, but it's like the shape of the dome is really good. Like when I look for a driver, I look for this shape that's just like slight dome, nothing too crazy. And the disc stability is like neutral, I'd say. Like if I throw it flat, I'll get turn out of it, and then instead of like hooking up hard, it just like kind of flattens out. Now with like a flat disc, the issue I find with those is they like flip quick and then they fade quick once they lose their speed. But with a little bit of dome, like this is kind of one of the ideal drivers. So my driver, I'm kind of looking to be like a counterpart to these DD3s. So they're just like really workable. Maybe like a slightly different feel, where just kind of tweaking with some stuff. I still like the feel of these, but maybe I want to maybe change like the shape of the nose a little bit to just see like what kind of different flight paths we can get. I know like the DD is a disc that Discmania has that has a little more of a blunt nose, and it's a lot more controllable. I feel like that way, and so that was another thing I was kind of thinking about trying out.
With regard to you talked about the Creator Series, the disc that you're working on, does that also bleed into the naming? And where are you at on that? Do they give you a list of potential names? Is this something that you get to just pull out of thin air, or they kind of give you a box, so to speak, of which you got to stay within? How will the naming come about for that?
I am terrible with names, mostly because I just like, I feel like there's always a better name out there, and so I actually haven't thought one bit about what I want to name my disc. I think I have one name in mind that we've been like maybe talking about a little bit. So that might happen, but other than that, I only have one name, and I have like 3 discs coming out. So
okay, I'd go with X2 because we've seen that by Prodigy, we've seen it by Discraft. Let's just have a Discmania X2.
Sure, why not?
I'm just throwing out ideas.
Are you looking for like a theme for your discs, as we've seen? Like Kevin Jones has a theme, Paul Macbeth has a theme, Paige Pierce kind of has a theme. Are you kind of leaning that way, or is it going to be more just whatever strikes you?
You can come in.
Uh-oh.
Gavin's trying to ruin the show like you did last year.
No. Is he clothed this time?
Yeah, he has some clothes on this time.
All right,
Let's keep it that way.
yeah, we prefer it that way, but it's not obligated. I'm just saying.
Does he still have all of his fingers?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is getting weird.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm guessing there's some vlog material
Yes,
trying to be
there's something
created.
happening.
Yeah.
There's something happening.
I mean, if you just know all too well that something's in the works.
I don't know if it's going to work out what they're doing, but they're trying,
Okay.
they're trying their best.
So
I don't-
theme, any kind of train of thought or theme that you're working on or might work on?
I don't know. Just like more like, I guess like the one name I had was somewhat cold themed, like the whole like ice in the veins thing that I had going on.
Sure.
Like a last year.
Mhm.
That's like the only thing I think. Other than that, probably no theme. As long as it's a sick name, I'd be happy with it.
Okay.
What about iced tea? Ice Cube?
Ice tea, yeah.
Vanilla
Ice
ice?
Just
Oh,
go
the
all
vanilla
frozen
ice.
wrappers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I don't know. There's an idea.
I heard
Speaking of-
Eskimos have like 47 different words for snow, but I mean,
yeah, there you go. Speaking of, I don't know, vanilla ice. I don't know. How tall are you? Somebody asked earlier if you're still growing, but how? And I know I kind of made the joke during our interview, but like literally, how tall are you?
I am 6'6".
Huh? He
Nice.
seems taller than you, Johnny.
well, I've shrunk. I'm old. As I've said,
Because I'm so skinny, I just look taller.
yeah, well, and that's
That Johnny doesn't have that problem.
No, I used to have that problem. No, like as I've said on the show, my son is 14 and he's 6 foot. He's over 6'6". He's 6'6" and a quarter. So, and he's only 14, so he's going to keep
Wait,
growing
what?
for a little bit. So,
He's gonna be 8 feet tall.
he better not. Be.
Are
I
you
will
are you done
punch him
growing
right in the
then?
face.
Are you
I
done?
hope so. I can't lose any more accuracy, or I'll be toast.
Someone asked also in the board, since we're going out of true after show theme here. Someone asked if like fitness routine and or bulking up or weightlifting, any kind of like what's kind of do you have a plan? Have you thought about how you want your overall physique to be?
Well, I definitely want to be like So my training, I've thought about training to like a range of motion, so it's mobility and strengthening and flexibility. So and quick, fast twitch muscles. So like trying to do exercises that, it's the exercise, but you're doing it at the furthest range of motion, or whether it could be like a stretch, and then once you feel the furthest stretch, then you actually put the tension through the muscle. And so as like the muscle fibers like tear or whatever, the little mini tears when you grow muscle, if you're doing that through lengthening exercises, it'll grow back and the muscle will lengthen out, so you'll actually be more flexible when you get to those situations. And disc golf are like shoulders, especially like when you throw your arms way behind your back, kind of, you got to keep your front shoulder nice and loose and strengthen those as well, all the muscles in there. And then I did mostly like body weight stuff. I did some like lightweight lifting, but another way to do it is having lighter weights but keeping it farther from your center of gravity so they feel heavier, just because the pendulum's different. But I added 25 pounds last offseason, or 2 off seasons ago. From 2022 to 2023, I added that weight. And then this year was more just like maintaining and kind of just staying healthy. So I felt like I did a pretty good job. I did have a pretty bad ankle injury at the first week of December, or first week of January this year, that I couldn't walk I couldn't walk normally for like 2 weeks. And then even now it's not 100%. It's still kind of there a little bit. It's not really painful, but if I like sit on my foot weird, I'll definitely feel like pain. But it's healed for the most part, so that's fine. But that I was doing good, and that kind of put everything to a halt. But then I got back on it for like the last week, 2 weeks that I was at home, and obviously start off the season good with a fourth place at chess.com and then winning Memorial. So we're looking to continue that. This is the best start I've had in any season so far. I've always seemed to have like one good finish and one really bad finish, and now I have two good finishes. So yeah, just looking for a top 10 here at Waco.
Yeah, and is there anything that you're doing overall that's different this year that you feel like is a drastic change? Obviously, you have a new bag. That's the most obvious one. But is there anything else that you feel like would be shocking to us or a surprise to the disc golf world when you say, yeah, this year I'm doing blank? Is anything? Can you fill in anything there?
I'm trying to find a way to game plan. I mean, we all have those like situations where you take like a huge number or you make a big mistake and you're like, wow, I could have just laid that up. Like you think that afterwards. Mm-hmm. I'm doing my best to find a way to prevent that stuff from happening. And like some of that is like playing to the safer side of OB. Maybe you have OB on the left, basket here. You actually act as if the basket is 20 feet further away from the OB, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Another thing is like when you throw, carry and balance as long as you possibly can. That's an important part. So at worst case, you made your progress down the fairway. So stuff like that, laying up putts that aren't worth it, and then just getting a solid game plan that's playing my highest percentages. And it's already paid off. I think the most bogeys I've taken in a round this year is 2, maybe even 1. I might have taken 1 bogey. That's my most in a round this year out of my seven rounds I played. So I'm just trying to play smart golf and keeping my head in it and never giving up until the 18th hole.
Then you'll give up on the 18th hole. Like, screw it, I'm done.
After you tap on 18, you're just like, I'm quitting disc golf. I'm done with life.
I'm out. Obviously, and you and I briefly.
They've set a nice dinner table for you.
Wow.
Lily brought a table in my room. I have no idea why.
It looks like a fancy. There's going to be some candles lit. And
should be a nice steak dinner, hopefully.
Yeah. If Isaac comes in with like a towel over his arm,
mm-hmm.
like, what can I get you, sir?
Yeah,
that's what I want.
I'd be like, chicken nuggets, please.
Chicken nuggets with a side of M&Ms.
Your finest chicken nuggets with the side of honey mustard. Yeah, I believe it was about this time last year when I learned of the whole mayo on bread to make grilled cheese method, which I had never heard.
Yeah.
And you enlightened me to that, to which the rest of the world's like, duh.
Yeah, a lot of people
I'd never heard of that. So have your cooking skills in any way advanced? Maybe that's the good word for it. Okay.
I haven't made grilled cheese since that conversation.
Okay.
Wow.
It was like for that week I was on a roll. I was like, I'm making grilled cheeses, and it was they were amazing grilled cheeses.
Living life. Yeah.
Obviously those nice YouTube recipes are always the best.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just a terrible cook.
Okay. The other thing you told me the other night is you still don't have a driver's license.
No.
So tell the rest of the world what your strategy is still without a driver's license.
Sorry, they're doing something so stupid.
Really? Really?
Never would have guessed it.
Really? I had no idea. I don't have a driver's license. The goal was to do it this off season. Because the original plan was to tour. Me and Silas would have one car. It'd be my car, and we'd tour it and split gas, split time driving. Mm-hmm. And then
his car didn't work out.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Well,
too soon.
He only got a car because our plans didn't work out. We were originally, like I said, going to tour together, and then he wouldn't even need a car. But some like planning stuff went weird, and then he ended up like wasn't going to tour with us, and then now he is going to tour with us. So it's kind of like all over the board. So I was going to get a license for that reason, and and I just didn't get a license because there was no like reason to, and I don't know, and it makes it so I don't have to drive anyone's car.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can always. That was that. I mean,
That's like the low key way.
In college, Terry always had like the smallest car, and so Terry was just like, "Hey, guess we can't take my car to travel anywhere for any disc golf tournaments. Must be too tough. Let's take the Buick Park Avenue Johnny has."
Yeah, if you don't fit, oh well.
Oh, well.
It's all or nothing. Okay. So not gonna have a license this year. But how does the travel arrangement work out then? With like, who are you? What vehicle are you physically in? With whom? And what's your caravan look like? How many people are traveling?
Yeah, so I'll show you the guy I'm riding with.
Are those pancakes? Are you eating pancakes?
It's a banana on an orange plate.
Oh, it was a little hard to tell. I couldn't tell if it was pancakes or not. I was like,
they set up an entire table. They brought a glass table in the room, put 6 chairs in here, and then Gavin put a napkin in his shirt, like a 12-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then he has a steak knife cutting a banana.
I mean, keep it classy.
Sounds appealing.
That's what I say. Keep it classy.
Oh my gosh, Terry, you're the worst with these.
Thank you.
Yeah, but so Alden is the one who offered to drive me everywhere, and so
Wow.
that's what's happening. I
Lucky
just wait in
him.
the car. He drives everywhere.
Huh. Wow, that sounds. What's your main role as the passenger then? Like, what are you tasked to do with? Is it
Just annoy him all the time.
Keep him awake.
find
directions,
the
away is
food, directions,
me.
music? Like, what you have to have a task.
the nearest chicken nuggets.
No, I mean, I have a Chick-fil-A dealer, I'll call it, where I get a certain amount of free meals, and so I just give everyone free Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
Okay, so you're just scoping out the Chick-fil-A's, obviously not on Sundays,
Yeah.
but you're just scoping out where the Chick-fil-A's are so you can hook everyone up. Damn. I want in on that.
No.
Just gotta come on tour with us.
Yeah, travel with them.
I just might.
We can have the DGN studio in here.
That's a good call. And I also learned, of course, from Alden's vlogs, you guys are planning on, as we see, more Airbnb-ing this year. How
Yep.
many of those will you get kicked out of?
Oh gosh, I mean, we're pretty close to me kicking everyone else out right now.
I worry that I guess if they saw any of the video or evidence, it would be after you guys have left. But there's still a certain decorum you've got to keep within your rules of Airbnb-ing, because there's been plenty of golfers that have been kicked out of them.
Yeah, I think I've definitely been the closest to being kicked out.
Okay, what and the idea of Airbnbs this year, is that pure economics? Is that so that you guys aren't fighting over hotel beds? What was the game plan? Like, how did this come about? And how many are going to be in most of the Airbnbs? Like, what's going to be the average number of people?
It's 4. It's me, Alden, Gavin, Isaac at every single Airbnb, and then Silas for like I think a majority of them too.
Why do you guys not like Ezra?
He is married.
So he can't stay in an Airbnb? Like that's against the law?
No, we don't like people that get married.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right. That's legit. I mean, I don't blame you.
that sounds fair.
And so yeah, he's not in the Airbnbs. He chose a different life, and that's what he gets.
What about
That's what love
pregnant
gets
people?
you.
What about pregnant people? We're seeing more pregnant people on tour.
It's pretty crazy. Like we're reaching that era. Everyone's just becoming a mom or a dad on tour, and like I feel like we kind of saw that in football, even like with like Tom Brady retiring, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, like now Steph Curry, LeBron James are all older, and like those are all the people I grew up watching in all the sports, and they're like kind of aging out now. And then it's the same thing with disc golf. Everyone's luckily in disc golf. I feel like you can play while you're a little bit older, but now people are starting families, so pretty interesting. And then you see the younger players coming up and just filling their slots basically.
Would Hannah Macbeth let you hold baby Pablo?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Oh, no? Okay.
Hmm.
I know.
I don't know.
You feel like you should be trusted with a baby?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. I can appreciate that honesty.
I mean, he's around Gavin a lot, so.
So, real quick, this weekend, I'll go just to touch on the course one more time, or I'm sure I should say the overall conditions. Looks like it's going to be a little bit colder as the weekend rolls on, and then also a legitimate chance of, it says AM thunderstorms possibly on Friday, and then you've got a high of almost 80 tomorrow, but by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, you're talking about highs of only 60 and 61.
That sounds great.
I hate it.
You go from
hand
20
warmers,
mile
dude.
per hour winds down to 5 miles per hour, but what
60 in wind, no thank you. Just
Yeah.
flat 60 though. I'm good with that.
are you concerned at all about conditions this weekend? What are you gearing up for?
I mean, Memorial was pretty windy. I feel like I managed it pretty good. If you like wind, you can always use wind to your advantage as long as it's not like crazy wind that where it becomes like unfair. But you
Okay.
can always throw like overstable, like I said, playing to the safe side, laying up putts. Like you can actually use it to your advantage to have your competitors just mess up, and then you just stay steady, get a couple birdies, and then it seems like almost every time by the end of the round you are coming out on top. So I kind of like the wind. It obviously there is a little bit of like unfairness in it, but not like a ton. I feel like.
All right. So as we start to wrap up here, I got to ask something I didn't ask at all earlier this week. What was your biggest takeaway or memorable moment of the Memorials competition for you this weekend? Like whether it was to you or with regards to your card mates or whatever. What do you feel like was your biggest takeaway from this last weekend?
I don't know. Well, I think for me it was probably when Aaron took a 6 on hole 9, and for the first time in the tournament I had the lead and I had control.
Okay.
And by when I started off the day getting 2 strokes on him on hole 1. I got a birdie, he got a bogey. I was down 3, and then I was back down 1. Kind of kept within like 1 and 2 for the whole rest of the front 9, and then obviously actually I got, I believe, 2 strokes on him on hole 7. He got one back on me. I tied up on hole 7, made a decent putt, and then he got one back on me in 8. But then I got 3 on him in hole 9. And at that time, like I don't know what it is, but like I've always just enjoyed like being ahead, and that it kind of like it just. I mean, everyone wants to be ahead, but I feel like it like lights that fire. Like there's blood in the water, and I know it's my chance to strike. Basically, like it's finally here for me. And so when I gained the lead, I just try to stay cool and call. What am I saying? Cool and
I don't
calm,
know.
and kind of give off that like vibe of like, hey, I got it. I want to keep it. And so I felt like I did a pretty good job of that. He ended up double bogeying hole 11 as well, and then I was able to get a birdie there to go up 5 with 7 to play. And at that point, I mean, it was a little bit of a weird position because, like, when you're up that much, you for sure just do not want to bogey. So I was playing a little bit safer. I laid up like 2 or 3 putts, just to be safe and make sure. I don't even know what's happening right now. And just to be sure that I wasn't dropping strokes. That's the worst thing you can do is just give one away, especially if he gets birdies. He's getting 2 back, and like in the back of my mind, you know that Vista ends with 2 island holes, and that's you could lose 4 strokes like that quick. It happens so fast at Vista. Yeah. So to answer the question though, sorry for going in super detail, but like either that when I took the lead on hole 9, or when I made my putt on 16 after my caddy told me no.
Yeah.
And I drained the circle 2 putt. It was my longest. It was actually that was my longest putt of the tournament. So it felt good to make that one.
Wow.
And
okay.
and then obviously shanked on 17, but Aaron went up on 18, put it in bounds, got the win, and yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, what a pivotal moment. I feel like even from a viewing perspective and everyone else that was fully invested in it, 9 felt like that was the ultimate. I mean, and it still got close, and Aaron battled back super strong, and ended up putting together, I think, 3 or 4 birdies in a row and made a charge and very much was in contention as you guys were coming down the stretch. But 9, that 3-stroke swing just really flipped everything on its head. And yeah.
I'll just say, so I mean, obviously Aaron's had his putting struggles in the past, and that 6 that triple bogey due to putting. I mean, in my mind, there as well. I know his history with putting, and it kind of like I know that he's nervous now. I guess I know
Sure.
it's getting to him a little bit, and so that almost also gives me a little bit of an edge, a little bit of an advantage, just like for my mental game, knowing that maybe even, and this isn't like a diss on Aaron. It's just like from what we've seen already, and his putt already looks 10 times better than it has last season. I mean, he made a lot of really, really good putts, and he made a lot of good circle one putts that he wouldn't make in the past. And so, I've said it, he'll get a win this year for sure.
Sure.
And it'll be scary once he wins. Same with AB. You never know what's going to happen. They could just win 5 events this year. So, obviously one of the best throwers in the game, but I think I use that to my advantage a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I mean, we'd be silly not to ask. Do either of your dinner mates there have anything they want to fill in or update us on from this weekend, since they're in there?
Is there ever just a calm night at the Airbnb?
No.
Like, we're just gonna hang out tonight and watch a rom-com.
I feel like usually they get mad at me for being weird, and then like
this is revenge.
I don't even know what just happened. Like, how do you come up with that idea? You bring an entire table to like a 2-foot door, set up a whole dinner. Isaac just pulled out a yogurt and then started eating it with like a spatula, and then I don't even know what just happened. So you guys are you can see on the vlog, but it's so dumb.
All right. I mean, as long as you guys are
that's why people like it though.
Enjoying yourselves.
Is there a pressure for the vlog to kind of always one up like what you've done in the past? Like, we got to come up with something new and original and goofy, and or is it more natural?
Well, I mean, it used to be like Alden just catching stuff on camera, like just naturally, and it's definitely transitioned to like more skits and more planned out stuff. Like, I mean, that wasn't planned out. Like, I didn't even inform him I was going to be on Smashbox until like 10 minutes before. I was like, hey, I'm on Smashbox. Just be quiet. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, they were relatively quiet.
So they were quiet. They were definitely quiet.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It made me not quiet. But we have like just like really. It's more just like really stupid ideas, and then we're like, oh, let's film it, and so that's what happens. Or something happened, we didn't get it on film, and then we redo it.
All right. Well, always in the filmmaking business there. Gannon, before we let you go, anything you want to say to anyone out there, fans, supporters, potential clients or customers, or whatever it might be? Anything you want to say to everyone? Shout outs that you want to give?
I don't know. Shout out you, Terry, putting a lot of work for the coverage. I know it's a lot of work, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
you're welcome.
Yeah, just all my sponsors: Discmania, Double G Jerky, Chump Chalk bags, Titan Disc Golf, and Squatch Disc Golf bags. And from Discmania and Squatch bags, just keep looking out because there will be something coming soon for both of them. And I'm excited to work with them and have my really first product out with each of them.
Sweet. Well, it was awesome. It was a roller coaster this weekend. It was a lot of fun to watch. It's seeing. I mean, there was just so many different storylines, including Aaron coming out shooting so well, so consistent off the right out of the gate. And doing commentary and having that go very well for him and for the rest of the world, for my channel. Everybody really seemed to enjoy it. And then to have AB shoot that insane round, and then to have you ultimately have the battle with him as it all came down the stretch. And like, there's just so many people, the storyline of Paul Ulibarri playing in front of the home state, but yet almost getting beat by his brother in Masters. Like, there was so many things going on just on the MPO side at this historic event. It's just an honor to be there to capture it and take it all in the way we did. And ultimately you defending your title.
And filling in with commentary on the final round.
And filling in with commentary, just all of it. Like, it makes for an exhausting, but yet such an insanely fulfilling weekend, like on so many levels. So congratulations again to you, and thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Well, sounds good.
Have a good one.
Sounds good. Hopefully we'll see you on coverage this weekend. I'll be in the booth, And if there's anything you think I need to know while I'm commentating
Text
in the
him.
booth, shoot it my way.
All right, just don't give me crap if I take 30 seconds one time.
I won't if you take 30 seconds. If you take 38 or 42 or a
Even if
minute
one
9, one time, then I might.
Well,
okay.
I might.
It depends. Depends on the
If
situation.
I take 30 seconds one time and somebody else does it, you got to give them crap too. That's the rule.
Okay, that's fair. But
I know
yeah,
you don't- I
one
know you don't wanna get on
time
all
you're
the
good.
higher-ups. You don't want to get on all the higher ups' bad side, but you might have to.
One time you're good if you take 30 seconds.
Okay.
2 times
I'll
at
know it.
35 seconds, I'm gonna rag on you. That's my job.
All right,
That's
I got
not
you.
actually your job. But
All right, have a good night. Thanks for
Thanks,
joining
Gannon.
us.
All right.
See ya.
See you guys.
Goodbye.
I think he just came on the podcast simply to tell you not to rag on him. He suffered through our interview, and then at the very end, he's like, "Oh, hey Terry, don't rag on me."
I mean, he certainly has been in that conversation, which we're not going to rehash. But yeah, he's been there and he's aware of it, and has certainly improved.
Oh yeah.
You can still put a clock on him sometimes,
I know.
but he has improved significantly.
I'm not unique in this scenario where I do have leeway for 30 seconds in certain situations. A wide open putt or approach is not that situation.
Yeah, or exclusively waiting for wind, which I feel like is sometimes makes it even more painful and feels more disrespectful to the players. It's one thing, I think, if you're caught up in your mind and your emotions. It's another thing if you're literally just waiting for the wind.
Sure.
Because everyone's thinking, well, that's definitely not fair. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? So,
Well,
nope.
then they should call him.
Everything's going to be good. Everybody's going
phenomenal.
to be 30 seconds or less this weekend.
Okay.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
At least if they're on coverage. All right.
We are going to give something away
Yeah, we are.
to one of our Patreon supporters. If you would like to be an eligible recipient of one of our prizes on the podcast here, you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV for literally as little as $1 a month. You can be eligible for this giveaway. Terry and I have a little meeting tonight. We're going to talk about making sure we get our Patreon discs out.
Yeah, we are.
Soon. So at the $3 level, you become eligible for those Patreon discs. But and then there's the $2 level where you get your name on the broadcast, and there's the $5 level where we kiss you.
And
It's awkward.
Johnny does.
I mean,
I watch.
that's even more weird. I mean, but hey, whatever you're into. Actually, you get a Studio Mini at the $5 level right here behind Terry. To the right of.
So you're always watching our backs.
So you're always watching our backs. Make sure checking up on us. Anyway, patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV. Tonight we have 132 people eligible for our giveaway, Terry.
I like it.
I'm glad you do.
We've got some good giveaway stuff.
We do. We're going to do 2 giveaways tonight.
Yes, because last weekend I was on the road, so we probably didn't do a giveaway.
So I didn't do a giveaway.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
and we didn't
tonight
even do an
will.
after show last week.
No.
It was just a single show.
I was tired.
All right, Terry. 132 people eligible. It's your 19th Memorial?
Yep. 19th Memorial, but it's the second Gannon Buhr win.
Okay.
So how about you pull the second number?
Our second number. Our first number. It's sorted by first name. Super original tonight.
Yeah, wow.
First number is 13, lucky number.
Yes, it is.
And our second number is going to be higher than that, is my guess. It is 87. 87. I'm going to scroll down to 87, and that person is Mokar. Congratulations, Mokar. Mo-car.
I like it.
Mokar.
Thank you.
All right, Mokar, you are a $3 supporter, so obviously we're going to send you this disc, but we'll also work on, as soon as Terry and I finalize the details for our Patreon supporter, for our Patreon discs, we're going to send that out, and you will receive one of those as well. But
Heck yeah.
tonight, Mokar, you are our weekly winner. Terry,
I feel like that's the first time. I don't
I have not
recognize that name, and you've been a supporter for a while.
You
so
haven't.
thank you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you won tonight. Terry,
We're all winners.
let's go to the second drawing. What number? The next one? Do you want to do 2 more again? What do you want?
I'd say the very next number we pull.
The very next number we pull is going to be
126.
126.
Oh, this is somebody that starts with a W. It's going to be a
126.
William.
Oh, let's see. It is wrong. You would have never guessed this. It starts with a U. Ulysses. Ulysses Muniz. Congratulations, Ulysses. That's a name I don't know if we've pulled
Either.
either. So
I don't believe we have.
awesome. I'm very happy
Heck yeah,
about that.
2 new winners.
2 new winners tonight. Congratulations, Ulysses. Although his email does have the words Cowboys fan in it, send him the Packer disc.
Yeah.
No, anyway.
I've got a Bart Star 1967. No,
Congratulations, Ulysses. Thank you for being a supporter at the $2 level.
Heck
It's
yeah.
much appreciated.
we appreciate
We
it.
will get those discs out as soon as Terry is humanly possible. I don't know if it's going to be this week because
It's either
of the
going to be
travel.
tomorrow. Yeah, if it's not tomorrow, it's
Then
going
it'll
to
be
be
early
5
next
days
week.
from now.
Okay,
It's going to be
that's
yeah,
understandable.
time to get all caught up. I leave for Bend tomorrow, and so I'll be out and about. Wow. It's been a night. It's been some. I've got to go repack. I think I got laundry to do, and then repack, and the next thing you know, I'm back on the road.
On the road again. I was going to ask what you were doing this weekend because I literally didn't know. I didn't know you were doing.
Yeah, I'm in the booth. I
couldn't think of who else
This is
you
a
were
side
doing
note
it,
that's relevant but not for most of you, but I'll just throw it out there because I happen to see it. Daylight savings this weekend, which doesn't really help me. I know our broadcasts, I have to be, I think, in the broadcast chair around 6 or 6:15 each morning, and then on Sunday it pushes for me back to 7 a.m., but we lose an hour, so effectively is like 6 a.m. But yeah, this weekend I believe is daylight savings gets adjusted Saturday night.
There is a cut, right?
I don't know about that,
I
but
don't know, but God, I hope Mo. 4 rounds. There needs to be a cut. You know this.
Let's hope so.
Eric Sterner asks, "Did I miss the after show?" Not really. Well, I
Kind
mean,
of, but not.
if you were listening to the Gannon Buhr interview, that was our after show this week. Gannon took a little. We moved your podcast up to 8 to accommodate more guests, then Gannon pushes us back. But no, we ended up having Gannon for our after show guest tonight. So
yeah, so that was the major focus,
Yeah.
which we just wrapped up. So if you want to rewind a little bit, it'll all be out there. Another little tiny quick housekeeping note is that the
Housekeeping.
FPO footage is going to continue to roll out from the memorial. A lot of people had asked about it. It was great. Big shout out to Jennifer Allen. She and Katarina Stalson Bjorkus did rounds 1 and 2 commentary. So graciously, thank you to them. And then Jen is lining up to get rounds 3 and 4 commentary knocked out. And all 4 rounds have been edited. All 4 rounds are available for her commentary. She's already done the first 2. So the plan is to continue to roll out, round 1 release today. Round 2 is going to release tomorrow. I've got it all loaded up. And then rounds 3 and 4, the 2 subsequent days after that. So the point is, FPO memorial coverage is all coming out. At some point, I'll get to the MP40 coverage. And then at some point, maybe
we'll see
finally,
you in 2025.
No, I'll get that out sooner. But finally, at some point, maybe I'll go back and get the chase card coverage from round 2. We'll release it. A few people have asked for it. Yeah. Anyway, it's all in the works. We still have Maricopa to release, and I still have Chiang Mai to release. So I got a lot of stuff coming on the channel.
That's great. And more people will see it now.
Now they will. Thank you. All right, let's call it. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to all of our supporters. Thank you to both, obviously, this channel as well as my channel, which we talked about. We're just keep making videos.
They call you Mr. 100,000. That's what I heard.
No, I don't think they do, but
That's the bonus YouTube sends you, right?
No.
Oh.
No. This has been SmashBoxxTV's podcast, 496's after show. Big shout out and big thanks seriously to Gannon Buhr. We know he's also a busy traveling man, a successful one, but thank you to Gannon for joining us and headlining our after show. For Johnny V, I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'll see you this weekend for the Waco Annual Charity Open live on the Disc Golf Network and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We'll see you then. And until then, step inside the Smashbox.